Futures extending declines a little bit here this morning. We're actually selling off right now a little bit more than early on in the pre-market ahead of more Fed speak later in the day today. We'll also get the big one, Fed Chair Powell going to take to the microphone around 12 o'clock at lunchtime to say, we'll see. If he comments on the overall economy and monetary policy, could be a market-moving event. The past couple of times we've seen him on camera, it's been more just opening remarks at certain events throughout the past week or so. We'll keep an eye on Fed Chair Powell, though. Again, just keep in mind, coming up at 12 o'clock today. Tesla trying to get back to the upside today, but not very successful right now. That was a pretty ugly deliveries number yesterday. Lots of analysts with opinions on said delivery number today, most of which, spoiler alert, are pretty negative for Tesla today. So negative once again for TSLA. We'll talk about some of the other EV names moving around in relation to that right now. Crypto trying to bounce, so there is a little bit of a bright spot today, but overall, futures looking to extend declines from yesterday. Once again, we'll see if we can't get moving right back in the right direction here. It's Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. We did get this ADP number that came out at 8:15. I was just trying to refresh this page because it wasn't populating at this point, but there it is, 184,000 versus 125,000. Again, employment change to the upside for March. ADP employment change at 8:15, 184 versus 125. Again, it all starts with Fed's Bowman at 9:45. We'll also get more PMI data, both 9:45 and then the ISM number once again. So if you remember 2 days ago, we got the manufacturing side of this number. Now we're getting the services side of the PMI data for March coming up at 10 o'clock for the ISM. That one did move the market going back to Tuesday. And then I'll scroll down here a little bit more. There he is. It says 12:10. I think the event itself starts at 12 o'clock, so they're anticipating he'll go on the microphone about 12:10 for Fed Chair Powell, but you can see long line of Fed speakers to come on a Wednesday here. It could be exciting. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. Yeah, I think a lot of Fed speak on the horizon, so we'll have to see how that goes now that moves the market. I know Fed's daily investor yesterday among the list of about 5 speakers yesterday, and they both said that they do think there's a potential for 3 rate cuts. So interesting stuff. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, it seems like he has them in line to, as far as the messaging is concerned anyways, everybody's on the same page the past couple of days here. This is the 10-year. Just keep aware, it's been 3 days in a row here for all of these. 10 years straight back to the upside this morning. The 30-year is also back to yesterday's high right now. The dollar not really doing much. That's the DXY just kind of hanging out. But as long as these yields are headed back north side, guys, going to be some pressure anyway short term here for the overall market.
Yeah, good morning. On Salmon Shirt Day, I see Adair and Sean looking sharp with the same.
It's funny because Adair, I came in and Adair goes,
there it is.
"Oh, I really like that shirt," and I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." And I said, "Is that because you're wearing pretty much the exact same color as me?" And she's like, "Oh, I am." And so yeah, and then we also decided that potentially for lunch would be salmon today.
I'd be cool with that.
So that would be really fun if that was the case. But
it's probably chicken. But
3 straight down days in the market, it looks like.
What color is that, Fabian?
Salmon as well.
I mean, it doesn't.
I'm glad a few people got the memo, of course.
I never get the we're wearing this color memo. Like there was, the first time I was back, it was like everyone was in black or white. Like
really?
You had white, and yeah, I remember it was weird. And I'm looking at them like, okay, well, nobody told me, but that's okay because the market is it's down.
Yeah.
Every single stock that I'm looking at is down. Yields are up. There was a good rally in the afternoon. We all saw that. Like so, the market ended up pretty strong, although, Apple didn't get to 170, obviously. But, yeah, the NASDAQ under a little bit of pressure. You all saw what happened with Tesla delivery numbers yesterday. Apple's been continuously weak. Now you got Intel, foundry business. Probably not going to be profitable. A little bit for longer than expected. I think that's going to weigh on the stock a little bit today. So that's on the radar for the wrong reasons, 100%. Google could be a little bit of a kernel of strength. I'm going to be looking at that one here today. But with literally everybody from the Fed apparently talking, you got like speakers before Powell, you got speakers after. You want to keep your ear to the ground, be patient with your plans. Oh yeah, and Reddit today, great bounce off its IPO price or IPO bottom yesterday. If we can hold 47, I like that for some continuation. So that's going to be on the radar. Probably should have looked at it a little bit more yesterday, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Reddit was a good one there, back over and touching that 45 and then pretty much ripping off that. Yeah, I know Meta's up. I'm going to leave Meta alone, Lasmel, and I'll talk about why. So I'm really excited, not just for Fed speak. I think the most important thing of the day could be 1 p.m. I mean, I don't know when this board is going to finally decide to vote, but Disney is up and away and looking to break through that 124. And when it does, it is sticky note ID at number 2. Just going long through, and the sticky note's going to be up in a sec, just going long through 124. That past high is 123 according to eSignal. We have a 123.73, which is, yep, and according to our charts as well. That is the past 52-week high right there on Disney. It is the #1 name there. We've talked about this performing here this year in the Dow, and it looks like it's going to continue that move higher here as Nelson Peltz and board try to grab about those 2 seats. We'll see if the current board wants to shake it up or not. But as Taylor Swift would say, Adara, maybe Disney will just shake it off. I mean, I don't know.
It might do nothing.
We'll find out what happens there. And they also are streaming the Eras tour as well, by the way, which thankfully I haven't been able to watch yet because we've been so busy.
Well, yeah.
We haven't even been home to do anything. And my daughter is all about watching like these pseudo horror movies. Like she wants to watch, and she did watch because she went over to a friend's house, and then we watched it with her. It wasn't that bad. That Megan. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah,
that doll that
I watched it on my flight to Halifax.
She said, because I said that movie I think is because it's only 14 or something.
It's
like
not that bad.
But she goes, there was an F word in there. I think I can say that. I don't know.
Yeah, you can say that.
And I said, oh my God, I hate when you're doing that. But sometimes the kids unfortunately go to school and know certain words.
Like you can only protect them for something.
Anyway, so she's like, she wants to do that, so we're trying to find like,
so you watched
scary movie? Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty
interesting.
Like,
yeah, and especially with the era.
It's AI world we're in right now.
The era that we're dealing in, I thought it was pretty fun. And then she related it to something else. I think maybe we were talking in the car about Optimus or something.
Like it's kind of like like Child's. It's like basically like imagine like Child's Play.
Yeah,
but
it was just fun. But there's no gruesome murders or anything like that. Like it's
well, it has a couple moments.
Yeah, it has a couple moments, but it's not. I don't know. It wasn't that. It wasn't that bad. I think it was pretty well done for what it was. So, anyways,
you got to watch if you. Well.
Oh, and then we watched so we go from watching that to the Mean Girls musical. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. Kids these days.
You gotta try to watch The Exorcist. There's a new one. They had that new one out.
That's one of that's
a scary
favorite movie.
They're making a new Omen movie. That's a scary movie.
Yes. You know what I thought was really super scary? Oh man, I'm gonna have to remember. Let me get back to you guys on this one. There was one when we were growing up, and I rewatched it and it wasn't that scary, but I can't remember what it is. That they just redid that as well.
Yeah.
Isn't there something on Netflix for it? I think. Anyways. I'll think about it.
What else is there?
Anyways, something to do with the Vatican. All right, let's go back over to the desk.
All right, I was just looking for a couple of sources here because I wanted to talk about, I saw a few people mentioning this morning, GEO, that prison company, GEO is the name of the stock. This is, if you go to a daily chart, this thing's had a really nice move from $7 up to 14. This was the one, if everyone recalls, Michael Burry was involved with at one point. I was just looking for another source. This is kind of a cool visual, but according to this website, he's actually out of this. So zero shares in the position right now, but this kind of outlines his history of buying and sales of this. So he did load up right at the bottom. There's 3 million, 2 million, 500,000, sold about 1 million and change there, and then bought back 200,000, sold 600. And that was it. That's going back to basically the end of the summer last year. So it looks like, according to this anyways, Michael Burry is out of this and did not participate in this move from 7 all the way up to 14 for Geo.
Yeah, that's a massive move for Geo. They also apparently announced earlier today, I'm seeing on Benzinga here, they announced a $1.2 billion senior note offering to refinance their existing indebtedness. They also announced earlier on Monday that they're looking to commence their refinancing process for some of their tranches. So certainly some financial updates here for GEO. And yeah, what a nice chart there, going double with this nice kind of curl up here.
He had the right idea, but I guess he got impatient. Kind of strange. Play, a few people talking about this as well, up 7, increasing their current buyback program for Dave & Buster's as well. Pretty active this morning, guys.
I think when
So it's in play today?
Yeah, Yannick was getting some play jokes there. He said something about going to the arcade or something today, or is anyone going to...
Yo, I loved Dave &
play some games. I was surprised. We talked about this on the after show. There still is one in Vaughan.
That's the one.
Vaughan, yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
There was a broken machine. I think you were there the time with the broken machine. We went there with our high school buddies, and there was like, they had those...
Yeah, I wonder who broke
the coin... No. It was like, the coin games where...
Yeah.
Like whatever, like it pushes the coin.
It pushes them, right.
Essentially, and you get tickets. So essentially what was happening is we saw like a couple of people that were at this one machine, and it was just they were getting a payout, and like none of the machines were available to play that game, so you're just kind of waiting for one to come open, and they're not like, it just keeps on spitting out tickets, and they're not leaving, it's more and more.
Yeah.
And so like
but eventually
come back,
they run out of tickets, right?
Exactly. So someone comes to refill it, and then we go back like 10 minutes later, and like, why are they still there, and why do they keep winning? And so one of them comes to us and says, yo, this machine is broken. It just keeps spitting out tickets. Just stand here. We have to leave. Just stand here and keep taking them. So we did that for a bit.
You wasted
won some
an
like
hour.
stupid prize. Like what? It's just giving you tickets.
Yeah.
So until the roll and the guy comes to fill it, when they filled it the second time is when they realized, hey, something's going on here, and then we had to stop. But it was great.
Those are the worst things.
I think I got like a lava lamp or something.
I was going to say, you get all those tickets and you spend like $150, and the best thing you can get is like a $5 made in China stuffy that blows up in your face or something like that.
But it is a breakout on the daily.
It's a good move.
Like the chart actually, like this actually looks good for 2 reasons. One, I mean, obviously a clear breakout. You can see 65 in here. I'm not even going to bother drawing a resistance line for you. But the second part of it is, well, what would have happened in the aftermarket? Like anybody that traded this in the aftermarket, either you could have dumped long shares, which released pressure, or on top of that, you could have trapped some people looking shorts under 60 or 61, and then now they're off sides as it's breaking resistance. So an open above 65, and who knows, the stock could actually have something to do today. So when we say it's in play, we're not joking around. It's 11% short float, and it just broke a 52-week high. So that's the kind of thing you got to like here above that 65. But the volume is not really up to snuff. 20,000 shares early pre-market. You got to see this thing open up and hold that 25 level.
I wanted to check. We won't be trading this, but I wanted to check what MicroStrategy did yesterday because we didn't. Okay, so yesterday went back into 1450, 1500, back up to 15 today because we were watching Bitcoin here at 65.7. Yikes. We just saw such a violent move in this name, and there's a nice bounce off of 1500. So this could be something to look at again here if we come back in for MicroStrategy in and around 1500. This is just a decent play, especially for some of you that are playing options now. I know they're going to be super expensive on this name, but just the explosiveness of the name and sort of the volatility here will get you so much back if you're right. Like even if we come back into 1500 and it looks like we're going to break, at that point, if you can get a call or something like that back up to 17 or 1750, and then you do get one more hold here of Bitcoin, and then you could probably go back because this is like a 2-week bottom here in and around 1500 for MicroStrategy. So that's held, and I mean, and so has Bitcoin. And it looks like right now, and I know Brendan mentioned a little bit off the top, 65.8. If you just look at Bitcoin itself, and I don't know if we have, was crypto on our watch list? I don't think there was a crypto moment there. I don't know if it's going to be on our, is crypto on our rundown today, Brendo? No, okay. Okay, so that's good, So we'll talk about that quickly. So this is the kind of levels that we're talking about holding here. 64,000, 63,000. So if this is going to be something for us to look at, you know, maybe MicroStrategy if you're not, because Mara will move a little bit different than Bitcoin, although that's also another great levered opportunity to get into a name. Because you know what, there's not really, like when's the 3 times IBIT coming? You know, like things like
Give
that.
it time.
Like I'm surprised that's actually not here already.
Well, it takes time.
You know, but
they
MSTR.
just got the ETFs out there. It'll happen.
I mean, they would start trash talking Jim Cramer, and then like within like a couple of days, there's an S Jim
That's true.
or something like that. But no, they do take a while.
It'll
to file.
happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, there probably is a 6-month kind of
There's
cooling
something-
off period on that or something.
Or at
but,
least there should be.
Anyways, wouldn't that be fun, Brendan and Adair, if we started getting 3 times levered Bitcoin ETFs?
So much fun.
Be something, yeah. Definitely be interesting.
Can feel the excitement. Yeah, no, that would be disastrous, I feel like. I want to mention this real quick. Tesla downside, as we said. Here's Rivian trying to desperately, we're right at, guys, the bottom end of the range here for Rivian on a daily chart this morning. I mean, all of these EV names under pressure. We'll get to Tesla in more depth coming up a little bit later, but not looking good on any of these charts on a higher time frame today.
That was Rivian? Okay.
Yeah. Isn't today.
I feel like Lucid's the best one because we know the Saudis will just put it in. But I don't know who's going to put it in for Rivian.
$10 flat bottom break. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's at 10.50 today. It wicked like 11.50 is like that's the key level, like 11.50 and $10. Those are the biggies, and you're not going to see 11.50 today. You're probably closer to testing that $10 flat bottom break, and that's on this daily chart. So it was just here. It had the nice rally after it got dumped, you know, post earnings, and that got you back. You got 25, 30% off the bottom, so it was actually pretty good. And now you're staring this in the face. With Tesla disappointing the way that they did, with Go EV, going concern issues, and I mean, we can go on and on about EV space. And then you get more and more competition. Like the Chinese names keep getting more competition there, and now they're expanding and moving. It's like nothing is good for the EV space right now. Like the only pseudo EV company that's actually performing well on the chart is GM, but then they got their legacy business that's going to be providing the reason for that. So, like, it's 10 breaks. I'm probably going to be on this, but at 10.50, you still have a decent size move for this to get back down there. But I mean, we got a graphic for these things. Like if a stock like this has a $10 52-week low and then double taps it and breaks, that's just a trade you're going to have. But it's not on the front of the radar because of the likelihood that we'd even see it in the open.
All right.
How does he know we're talking about EVs? You did it again.
Man, you came just with a croissant, but there's no jet fuel.
I know.
How was the croissant? Is that a nice buttery one? Yeah, it's all right. Is it cold out today? You're wearing a hoodie. Normally you're in a t-shirt.
It's because it's wet, so it makes it, yeah. When it's wet outside, it makes you feel that chill. That's why I got the sweater. Yes.
Tesla's doing something? Oh, there it is.
You didn't even have to
Tesla
answer. I know you
scout
want to
locations for 2 to 3 billion. Okay, so we actually, who was I with? Actually, I was with Baxter yesterday, and he was, we were talking about Tesla, because I said, oh my God, have you seen the moves lately? This is what I talk about with my kid on the way home. Have you seen the moves lately in Tesla? Because it's 4 or 5 straight down days. And he actually said, well, look, they still have so much reliance there, because I was telling him about the miss in China, and that they had so much reliance there in China, and it was actually pretty foolish of them to have that as such. And it's not their fault. I mean, they scaled up there. It was a huge success. Tesla's been the driver of so much wealth in the stock market for many traders. But like we've seen, Apple move into India pretty heavily, and I believe the iPhone 16 is only going to be produced, or the majority of it, in India to get away from the China dependence. And Tesla now, I think with that headline, that's a smart move. I mean, I just, that's what you want to do. We've seen China been able to basically turn off trade if they wanted to, control their own money supply, which obviously we do here as well, manipulate markets. There's nothing different than potentially what happens in the United States, but why deal with that if you can go into another, burgeoning market, which is maybe the next big tech boom could be in India, right? And it's not already.
Will be, yeah.
If not already. So, I mean, yeah, educated market. We've already talked about that with Apple and some of the other major manufacturing companies moving into India. I think that story's good, but it was just put in my ear and I just saw it for the first time. So without knowing too much about it, that doesn't seem like too much of an expansion. 3 billion? I mean,
a couple billion here.
A couple billion here, a couple billion there. We talked about, well, we will get to Intel and what happens when you build factories and things like that.
It's expensive, man.
It gets expensive, and sometimes it gets more expensive than maybe you thought. And then sometimes you push out the profitability targets on those, and we will talk about that when we get back. Fabian, are we ready to go? If you want to, okay, we'll just keep going. Let me know. We are going to go over to for upgrades and downgrades, but yeah, I think that's an interesting. What do you think about
it? Could be a hot minute before we like the EV names again. Like I don't like it's like we're in April. Like it might not be. It could be the end of the year. It could be next year. I'm not terribly concerned about Tesla in the longer run, but there's nothing about it this week, maybe even like next week, that's exciting me to jump this trend in the other direction. Like, yes, obviously it's going to make perfect sense for them to be doing this in India. I think that's great news, but that doesn't do anything for them in the next few months. I think that's obviously a good move for them in the long term, but as there's going to be some failures in the industry and there's going to be some consolidation probably at some point in this industry, even though it hasn't happened yet, those things are going to happen in EVs. They happen all the time. It happens in cannabis, it'll happen in AI, it happened in semis. It's just, this is what happens in any kind of a growing industry. You have that excitement, and then you have the reality starts to set in, then you have the winners and losers separated, and from there, I feel like we haven't even had that yet. We're starting to get a few failures, and once you work through that cycle, Tesla will come out on top.
That was quick, boy. Wow. Do we talk that long? Wow.
No, you're not messing around.
My mistake,
today.
everybody. All right, over to the board now with, thank you, Randy, with Adara.
Some interesting names on the board here, especially on the downgrade side. But for upgrades, we have Legend Biotech getting an upgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald. Jasper Therapeutics getting an upgrade here from Evercore ISI. UPS here getting an upgrade from Redbird Atlantic, trading a bit higher. And Fluence getting a nice move up here, Fluence Energy, after this upgrade from Raymond James. Lots of retail downgrades here. PepsiCo getting downgraded by Argus Research. Gordon Haskett downloading both Costco and Dollar Tree here. And Ali gapping pretty significantly to the downside here after this downgrade from JP Morgan.
All right. So as Adrian says, Neil in the chat, Adrian says, thank you, Coffee Guy.
Yes.
So thank you, Coffee Guy, a.k.a. Randy. And Rob. Rob is, Rob is, were you telling him about your Bluetooth not working again, or what?
It's like, no, but it's like a different problem from yesterday. I can't win with, like, what's weird about it is
get that going.
It'll literally connect, every single TV in here it wants to connect to. It wants to connect to people's watches and somebody that has a Galaxy phone. I don't know who that is. It's not me. I have a Pixel. Like, everything it wants to connect to except for my earbuds, which I use every single day. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Now,
Rob just did something. Okay.
Well,
off the cap of that Bluetooth.
Well, now obviously he just took it away. So.
Oh, he took the. Oh, yeah.
He took the adapter.
Oh, he took the actual adapter out.
So I don't have any information in my ear, which means I have no idea when we're supposed to throw back to the desk. Oh no, what's?
Okay, so normally, Neil, what we do. I mean, I know I went off the rails there with the Coffee Guy comment. Normally, we comment on some of those upgrades and downgrades.
UPS.
Okay, so I'll take Costco first, and then you'll take UPS. So Costco is into the levels where you could get interested in it because, they had the miss. They were at 780. They were at all-time highs, as many stocks were in the last month or so. This is another one of those names that's pulling back much more than the market. So, if you think that Costco is going to be around for a minute and you don't mind retail, this is getting to be to a level where And look, a market technician would draw little lines here and say, frowny face. And it is moving to the downside. And I'm not sure where it's going to stop. But if you wanted to put $1,000 or you were trying to dollar cost average, I don't think Costco is horrible at some of these levels, maybe right here, right now. So that's that. I feel like if they start to cut rates at some point, that just makes credit cards even just a little bit better, which obviously a lot of people are paying with purchases on Costco on credit cards, unless you're walking around with $1,000 cash in your pocket, Fabian. Yeah, other than that, Costco I like on that downgrade side to maybe pick something up cheaper.
That, of course, was that a reference to the Robinhood card, or no?
No.
Oh, okay. No, you said the
I was
1,000.
trying to think about a way to think about why Costco.
No, because they had the thing. It's like either you get the card or you get 1,000 cash. You were saying.
Oh.
And by the way,
No, I just know how much it costs when you go to Costco. Like, honestly, you're like, oh, we ran out of toilet paper today. Okay, let's go to Costco and get toilet paper. Well, it's $30 because you have to buy like 80 rolls.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like it goes
It's
bad.
actually not that much, but.
I mean, you throw it in the storage. But quickly on UPS, I know it's not normally a stock that we would trade, but it has a pretty distinct pattern of getting destroyed for a couple of days, either on earnings or just for whatever reason, on sympathy sometimes, and then it's been making these bounces. So this would be the third time since late last year, like dump and then bounce, dump, bounce, dump, and they're putting in it's putting in higher lows. So it's back to and above the 50 period. This is worth watching. It's a kind of stock that can kind of go trending sometimes. So getting above 150, if it can break this top and then do one of those like slow trends in the afternoon or midday, then above 152, that's something worth looking for. Like, it's up 1%. I know it's going to lead the market right now in the upgrade. Maybe not enough juice, but it should be worth watching. It's done this before, and then it goes trending for weeks at a time after one of those massive dumps that it just came off of.
Debs. Yeah. Okay. Ramina's eating Pringles, and it's no, it's not. It's actually not Pringles. It's I can't believe it's not Pringles, but anyways. We were just discussing how many that she was able to eat in a certain amount of time, but whatever. I just want to mention this real quick. A few people were talking about Vivo Power, VVPR, just back through $8 here. Huge volume spike though, as it broke above $8, trying to pull back and hold that, but 36%. Yet another one, Adara, with a buyback today.
Yeah, and I know yesterday, too, with this Vivo Power, they also announced they were going to be merging one of their subsidiaries into this Cactus Acquisition Corp. So a kind of a SPAC-related piece of news with one of their subsidiaries yesterday as well. So second day of nice catalyst there for VVPR. One of those
days, or it could be one of those days anyways, where some of the craziest action could come with some of these small caps. Here's ABIO. 7 million shares traded on this already. This would appear to be a reverse split for ABIO. There's a few other ones moving around at this point this morning as well. So ABIO, VVPR, there's VNDA already at 3.5 million, XTIA, another one. So lots of action in small cap land today, guys.
Oh yeah, there was ABIO is a split. One of the Nvidia ETFs, I forget which one. You guys will know which one in the chat. One of those split too. You always have to watch out because like those ETFs are pulling to splits. You'll see the price move and you'll get all shocked, but it's not. ABIO already. I'm gonna eat the chip because it's in my hand.
Yeah, you have to once it's there.
ABIO, when these things reverse split, good chips by the way.
That's the problem with chips. It's like it's ridiculous.
You can't. These are basically Lays.
No, but it's just like, just eat them all, man. Just eat them all.
All right.
No, because I'm not having any more because thing is, like, I had two, and it's just like, I don't have enough discipline, you know. It is what it is.
We already know I don't have any.
Trying to get some discipline with trading here. Oh, I saw yesterday. No, Neil, you don't understand what I saw in the chat yesterday on the recap show. There was a user, their name was AAPL space FRTR. So Apple the stock, fritter. And I was just like, wow. And I mentioned you and everything, and I was like, wow, Apple, AA, like how no one has thought of that. AAPL.
Why didn't I think of that?
Did you hear that, Brendan? I don't know if he was here, but in the chat, there was a user, AAPL FRTR. And I was like, oh my God,
trading ID,
how has that not happened yet?
We should be allowed at Real Trading
How did
to
we
have.
not think of that?
We should have our own trader IDs. Like I want to be able to have, instead of like the one that it gives you when you generate your account, which is basically it's like a form of your first and last name. That's boring. Yeah. I want to be able to create my own. And then I could do Apple Fritter as mine.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Anyways, I thought that was really funny. So shout out to all of our viewers out there with the creativity. As people probably will change their names now.
Yeah, well, now everybody's going to do it.
You know, like Sharif's mom is not in there anymore because Sharif's on vacation. So she watches when
That's
he's
a good point.
on.
I haven't seen Sharif's mom in the chat.
No, because he's on vacation. He's not going to be watching right now. There's Randy.
Of course.
Automotive Minute with Randy. That's you know, that will be a popular segment.
Yeah, see, everyone's like searching for them now.
See, at Apple, no, it's not Flitter. FRTR. FRTR, yeah, Fritter. That's what it was.
Exactly.
I'd never seen them before. Yeah, there it is. So whatever Ryan Lewis just typed in there, that was the name.
That's the right one.
Yeah, that's the right one. I saw it there and I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. But on that
Never
note,
heard of you, Ponzi Fonzie.
No, Ponzi. Shout out to Ponzi Fonzie and Chef Joe and all the usual suspects in there. Also, just on that note, this is the origin of the name, and we will get to some Apple probably today. It is one of my names. I'm going to be still shorting in 170 land here for Apple. Okay, well, that's enough of us, that's for sure. Let's go back over to the desk.
All right, let's get into everything we need to know here. It's 9 o'clock, 30 minutes to go before we get the market open on busy Wednesday. Remember, mark down 9:45 first, then 10 o'clock. We'll get some key economic data, the services side of the PMI world today after we got the manufacturing side a couple days ago. And then the big one coming up at 12 o'clock. Fed's Bostic actually still speaking right now. Powell coming up at 12 o'clock today. Intel, top of the list today, as it should be, down big time here. $44 basically is where it closed this morning. We're all the way back to 41.5. As Neil was mentioning, the foundry side of things not going to be profitable anywhere near on the time frame they were talking.
Yeah, so also they had about $7 billion in operating losses for the foundry in 2023, $5.2 billion in 2022. So that's a pretty significant increase in losses there. They also announced that now the foundry segment is going to be a separate operating segment. They've actually have announced their own CFO for the foundry segment. So it looks like they are trying to focus more on the foundry elements with regards to that pretty significant increase in losses.
Yeah, this 41, if you go to a daily chart, 41's been a thing for a long, long time. When is that? December, all the way back to the beginning of, or the end, I should say, of 2023, guys.
All right. Yeah, it's okay.
No, the only thing, I was going to comment about ABIO.
You are muted.
What I was going to say about ABIO before we got off tangent was just that it was already falling down after a reverse split. So the trend on those is usually, if it can't rally in the first couple of days, you're just trending down. But like as far as Intel goes, when you say, like they might have had 17 in revenue when they split it out, their foundry business, but it was like 22 last year, and then the losses are bigger, and they're also talking about not profitability until 27. So it's all well and good that they're going to peak in terms of losses this year as expected. That's what Pat said, but you're still not expecting to be profitable by 27. You would have even heard me say, you're not even sure about this, how this is going to play out till 2025. This is a long-term road for them, and it's starting off bumpy. So when that's the case, I know 41 is support, so I'm waiting to short it on a pop. Like it's got to come back into a key price at 42.5 in here, or if it breaks it, I look at the 43 level. Otherwise, it's a little bit tight to that 41 support to want to be shorting it down here.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, because you were sort of kicking yourself that I didn't have a bid at 41. Is that something that happens now, or are you changing your mind?
No, I'm not buying now.
Not buying now. Okay, I was going to ask you because remember you were like, "Oh man, we went."
Well, it already bounced off it and went 10%.
Yeah, that's fair. So. No, that's fair. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you because I'm not really in this name. But Intel, we had this live on the show yesterday, and I want to thank again Apple Fritter and everybody that was on the market recap show. If you didn't watch it, I mean, honestly, I want to thank everybody for the support on Monday. I thought Monday's show was an absolute monster show with Michael Noss. One of the best ones I thought we had, to be honest with you. We had a great Q&A. And then we just followed that up yesterday with Brian Shannon coming on, and we nailed this PVH, We had Intel breaking right in front of us happening, and it was just a fantastic moment, considering there was really no earnings. So we're still bringing so much heat on that show. That was a nice move to the downside there, breaking through 43 bucks. We were watching it bounce around there, and then there was the call and the discussion, and numbers dropped, extending out the loss and extending the profitability targets, into 2023, 2027. You can go read the report. At the end of the day, I'm not trading Intel today. I've written Intel on this sticky note, and it was OB last week on I guess these moves up. I can't remember what day it was. It must have been this monster day up there. No. We were both thinking short. I can't remember what the news was again. And then the day before that, I was thinking long or whatever, and we just got tossed around on it. We lost too much the first day and not that much the second day, if I'm correct. I'm not afraid to trade it by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't want to. I think it's overdone, but I want to wait for lower. So that's why I was mentioning, I think 41 is going to be good to sit there and maybe take a long. Let's let it fall into that though. I'm not going to be start the buying at like 41.30, 41.20. Then by the time it gets to 41, I have too many shares. And then when it breaks, I look over at my net and I'm like, why the heck, did we lose that much money on a trade that we didn't really have a great feel for? So I'm just going to wait and see what happens down here at 41, and then most likely play a fade, as I want to be short today. So we'll play fades, but I'm just going to be as patient as I can with this name. I really like it. The name that's on the sticky note for me, though, is Nvidia. We have absolutely on the board the last couple of days with Nvidia. I mean, it's been one of my better trades. Now, we haven't traded it until the end of the day because we were able to find levels. But what I just wrote down here was 900 was key, short that to 905. So we had this the last couple of days against that 905 level. So there's 900 yesterday, right? So we broke it, we wicked up to 901, not even, and then fell back down. So if there's any chance that we could get this 898 level, that's something that I want to take here. 898 into 900, but I wrote down on the sticky note, let's not get out until we break 905. So I have to be better positioned as to not load up. Like if you don't want to lose $5,000, then don't put 1,000 shares at 900. Or do that, but don't put your out at 905. So I just feel like there's a lot of range in this name today. We could get a spike up with Fed, and that's what I want to talk about when Brendan brought it the first time, was with all these speakers coming out, you could get one speaker, no matter what it is, even if it's Powell, just say something that moves the market for 30 seconds, and then they either walk that back or the very next question kind of leads it down another road.
And you just go doop, doop.
So the problem is that you put your stops 30 cents away, that could just spike just because Powell mentioned something. And then all of a sudden, the very next conversation, he mentions something that sends it down 30 cents. And at the end of the day, he leaves the stage and the stock is where, or the market is where it was when he entered the building. So it's kind of like, just be careful, be aware, we'll have it up. If we can find something to show, we will.
Exactly.
Otherwise, Adara, Brendan will let us know when these speakers are on board. I have the benzing in my ear. Hopefully your Bluetooth will work, and we'll get that going. But yeah, Vin, thank you for reminding me. BOBA 72 was a level I wanted to look at as well. But we'll go back over to the desk right now as we're running a little bit late.
All right, nice pop here for Spotify. First off, they're raising their prices across the board $1 to $2. So 7%, just took out the highs here on the daily chart and then some. 7%, nice move here for Spotify. Not a lot of volume behind this, however, but we are up huge. So just be aware again, they're raising prices $1 to $2 across the board, depending on what plan you have for Spotify. Yeah, there's Tesla. There was a note that came out, the guys mentioned it quickly, looking to spend between $2 and $3 billion for a plant in India. If you remember, rewind the clock back to mid last year, I want to say. There was lots of headlines about Elon speaking with regulatory people and government officials in that country on this. So it looks like we are starting to see some momentum, possibly for Tesla going into India. However, yeah, that's not a good looking chart today again.
No, I mean, there continue to be these issues here with Tesla. We did get downgrades or price target decreases story here from HSBC, TD Cowen, Truist, JP Morgan, and Guggenheim. all this morning. Some of these pretty significant, most of them in that below 150 or around 150 range, so some pretty low price targets here. Cathie Wood, though, did add an additional $39 million plus, I think $39.18 million worth of Tesla stock. That's about 235,000 shares across 3 ETFs.
If anyone's keeping score, it's a lot. 7% here. Again, not a lot of volume here for Spotify if you missed it. They're raising prices $1 to $2 across the board here for Spot.
Now let's get to Spot first. I mean, we've already talked once about Tesla. I think you probably know what we're going to say because we already talked pretty negatively about it. But Spotify volume, okay, it's only done like 50,000 shares. So like this move has happened on almost no volume pre-market, but you are breaking out here, and it's pretty clean so far. I mean, it looks clean, but remember, low volume moves need to be held with a bit of a grain of salt. I would anticipate at the open, you might see a little bit of selling in terms of people taking profit. If it sniffs to like 270 is where this thing closed yesterday. Then it's already gone like 20 bucks off of that. So if it pulls back into like 80, like I would be looking for longs here. When a stock's breaking out like that, if it holds the breakout area, I'd be essentially looking for dip buys. I just don't, like if you wanted to play that short, anticipating selling at the open, the spread's $1.50. So I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. $1.50 spread, and that's if you want to get, I can't even guarantee that's 100 shares on the bid ask. So you really got to wait for this to open up, and if it does that and holds like around an even dollar area, fair enough. As far as Tesla goes, I don't want to change the plan from the last couple of days too much. I feel like this is trending down, and it continues to go lower. It feels like 150 is almost inevitable. Good bottom yesterday. Actually, the open was the bottom yesterday. But you're still, I like 168, and I managed to not really play 168 as well as we should have. But I want to be short under 168 again today. Like that is the plan. If it's under 168, I want to be short. If it breaks that out, then I'm sitting it out till 70 or 73. So still looking at the same levels as yesterday. Until this gets to 150, not really thinking about the longs in Tesla. And then as mentioned on Rivian, and Rivian could flat bottom break 10 any day now.
Yeah, we could talk about this yesterday, but we actually tagged Tesla yesterday as a short, and then I also used the hashtag stay in your grind yesterday. Tesla's been a very, very top stock. Again, I feel like it's Nvidia and Tesla, and it's just haven't been over trading, it's just been waiting. And yesterday we nailed that 168 level up here. We had this, that was that one time where it broke out, and then we talked about breaking out when it broke 167. That was an out level. I was waiting up here for 168. And that really wound up pay dirt. And we weren't here, unfortunately, when this was happening at 1 p.m., or we would have shorted the living you-know-what out of that. And it did get a nice bump up at the end of the day. But more negativity hits the name today with more downgrades. And, of course, Miss Cathie Wood bought yesterday. So there could be some bottoms into here. You do see a big spike right here, right off the open at 9:30. So whether or not it was a market on open order or there was some dip buys in there. This little drop down, we never actually got to 162. Like that was during, I mean, we got there, but that was on that release of the Chinese numbers. So during the day, we did not revisit that. So what I wrote down here on today's sticky note as the number one idea was Tesla short 168. So you got to start it earlier than that, but that's going to be a level to look at if you want to put your max shares. I would think you want to wait for that, but then it feels like a test of yesterday's lows of 162 might hit, and then we have a little bit of discussion about what we like on there, ARK buying more, yada, 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 so watch out for that. But I'm short Tesla. I already have the order in. I'm not short now, but I'm trying to get short up here. If we can just rally a little bit off the open like we did yesterday, boom. Like we were 162, we went up $4 yesterday. We were short into here and we believed in it. And then after that, it was, sirens up because the fade happened and we were able to really cash out yesterday. So let's just stay true to who we are. Like I said, stay grinding. We know we like the short, so we'll take it. And if it really gets going in the pre-market, honestly, I might just short something wild. Like, if it breaks through 163, then we get back to 164, then maybe we'll use that as our sort of top shelf there. So, yeah. I think Tesla's a short, and I'm not going to go long. Maybe at 160. Like, that's been a pretty...
150 for sure.
Oh, 150 I think might be an investable level. But for right now, we are definitely shorting something in Tesla in this mid 160, man. If we can get anything up here, then I think it's a negative catalyst. We've seen it move the last couple days. This to me is where my attention is today.
Productive, anyways. DJT up next here, back to the upside after a couple of days. Huge move down. We got below the debut price back on Thursday. We're back above where we closed yesterday, positive again, but it's actually pretty active already. I was just noting about 150,000 shares here in the pre-market, or more active, relatively speaking, on a pretty quiet day. But there was this lawsuit that was announced. We had a huge bounce yesterday off the initial move downside, initial move down this morning as well in the pre-market. Looks like 50 is going to hold here so far for DJT.
Yeah, Andy Latinsky and Wes Moss, these are two of the co-founders of Trump Media, basically getting accused of not hitting their responsibilities with regards to the merger and getting Truth Social active, and suing, saying that Latinsky and Moss should not receive their 8.6% stake in the company. So almost 10% of the company saying they should not be receiving it.
Price action, however, seems to be shrugging that off this morning, about 0.6 already, guys, here for DJT.
Yeah, it kind of it broke resistance at the bottom and kind of semi-squeeze in the afternoon. Like, it was through the $50 level, and then it held 50. So let me zoom in so you can see that. But you know what? Let's get off the 15-minute chart. Go to the 3, and then you can see this a little bit better. Like, it was a pretty decent break the second time through off of the $50 level. So first time failed at the open, but then second time through, then it holds support at $50. So I think, hey, $50 looks like something. It's a nice fat round number. It was support in the afternoon. It kind of double tapped it if you count this push at 330 to the downside that we saw. So that's probably the level to look at. If it holds a kind of a dip into 50, I think you go dip and rip. I prefer Reddit today for thinking about symbols that trade similarly, where the bit of a spread and not the gigantic float out there, and definitely a chance to run. I just simply preferred Reddit when we were laying that one out. I felt like this was a little bit stronger off the bottom yesterday. The 47 level was pretty key the last couple of trading sessions from resistance to support. It's holding above that 47, so I just want to be looking for longs in Reddit instead. I know it's down a little bit, but that was a bit stronger in yesterday's trade. But DJT, I'm not trying to short it today, that's for sure.
Yeah, I haven't looked really anywhere at those stocks. We saw Reddit yesterday at that 45 level. I just, I think it can get there again. I mean, why can't we just make that sort of that similar move that we had? But that was really solid. We had Danielle Shea on. We've had a couple traders on talking about waiting and being patient to buy IPOs. And the thing is, or direct lists, it doesn't really matter, anything, a SPAC, anything that happens in the first couple days, maybe even the first couple weeks, let it settle down and find its true price action and levels that you want to support. Like, obviously, when you see a move that goes from 46 to 68 back to 46 in 3 days, and it looks like this is not really, it's a great trading tool, but maybe not a great investable one yet, because you want to see these patterns slow down a little bit. So for me, now it looks like you can start to buy, honestly, if you thought that Reddit was something you liked. I mean, because you do have these bottoms, and I feel like you can even get out if it breaks 46 and not even worry about these wicks down to 44, or that might be a good buying spot. So I think for me as a day trader, that's kind of what I'm thinking about, would be to buy Reddit if we can get down into those levels again. I mean, we just made a move yesterday back up. So why can't we kind of fall back in maybe into this 48 level where we had some consolidation? So that's where I would be looking to pick something up on Reddit. So an early move down into this 40. Let me use 48 as not a good example. I'm going to talk 47, sorry. So I said the wrong thing. Right there, 47 was that bottom. So if you could take a 47, 47.50 fill, and then maybe use this 46.50 as you're out, it's $1 worth of risk to hopefully catch a bottom like some people did there and make that move back up to 50. So this could be like a 2 to 3 to 1 risk to reward trade if you're able to get it. Man, oh man, the market is still going lower, but Tesla is going even lower right now. So what was the number one idea to short? Looks like the short is fine, but we talked about possibly changing some prices. So with only 12 minutes to go, Tesla right now making moves lower. Neil mentioned this to me earlier about SOFI, so let's go get the story and then see how high SOFI can fly.
Not that high.
Not that high at all. So far, anyways. I mean, we'll see what happens. But what is it? 10 cents at this point of range in the pre-market here. It is positive on the day in a pretty negative market. But yeah, nice note from Needham this morning, initiating coverage with a buy, going to $10 here for SOFI.
Yeah, they had a lot of really positive things to say here. The analyst being Kyle Peterson for Needham, saying that SOFI is a long-term winner in the digital banking space, and it is a superior unit compared to its competitors, in part because it has a full banking license, and it does focus on prime and super prime customers. So interesting note here, very positive sentiments from Needham.
Yeah, we'll see if we get any follow-through, guys. A trade here for SOFI today?
Part of the problem is like the ATR right now on SOFI, I just checked, is 26 cents. So like you got to be very specific if you're trading a $7 stock that has had that tight of a range. And I think yesterday would have provided you with the kind of trade that you need to be looking for, which was kind of a wick bottom here at 7. Actually gave me an idea for the lesson today. But $7, like you get a dip down, a false break at 7, and then a bit of a rally. Like that provides you with an entry that you can risk a few pennies on, 4 or 5, and then you can capture the initial move, and it runs 15 to 20. So if you're not getting that, I don't think this catalyst is enough to cause this to do like a 50-cent day. And if that's not going to be the case, 720, it closed at 720. It had a somewhat adjacent close right at about, I think it was 721 or something like that on Monday. And then you had some support at 720 before, so you can see what I'm getting at. It's at 26. Were it to dip down, tag 20, maybe hold on within 5 cents of it, reclaim 20, then you try to go long back up through, and if it does the exact same pattern, that would be a trade. Outside of that, I wouldn't touch SOFI because the ATR is 26 cents. And it's not a big enough catalyst, I don't think. But it does give you that one setup that worked yesterday. So if you just see that repeats itself, there's nothing wrong with that little wick bottom at the open trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's not moving a whole heck of a lot there. So Neil covered some of that. I don't know. The market's weak, so although there's an upgrade there, I don't let it work out. So some of those levels are going to be pretty key. Unfortunately, yesterday we had a break of that 50 period on Palantir, and it came right back into these levels. These are, you didn't hear anybody recommend buying this name up here, 25, 26, 27, but the 50 period has been an area of support for many stocks. But the better long-term support, unfortunately, is the 200 period, which actually lines up with some of these breakout levels here. So I've been raising capital in cash, selling and getting into cash, and trying to diversify the portfolio a little bit. We have not sold any of Palantir, but we are kind of waiting to buy some more. I'm going to be wondering about buying some more if we can get somewhere near something like this bottom wick, which is 22 flat or so. So I look at that and say, okay, if I'm thinking about buying down there, maybe others are thinking about buying. Is my stream deck not working? Maybe others are thinking about possibly buying down there as we'll reach out to the bat phone. But this is a good level. So if the market falls like it's doing and the market looks like it wants to break, I mean, here's a 5-minute chart on the NASDAQ right now. It looks like it wants to get into here. And then that 18.2 that we called bottom yesterday, that will not be the bottom today. If we see this, it's going to break this. So, Palantir maybe gets to that 22 level. So just on the same light as a SOFI, where we get some, possible running names, Palantir, I think, is a watch down here at $22. So I'll put a bid down there. If it fills, at least we know it filled, and then we'll address it at that point. So I'm going to put a bid down near 22.10 or so for Palantir, and then, hey man, if the market's falling, we can get out of it, no problem, and then it'll just allow us to analyze that down there. So I like that. There's so many times, Neil, we talk about stocks and then we don't, it goes down there and I look at the chat and they're like,
oh yeah,
wow, Palantir's down like 4%. I'm like, what? And it's right at that level, but it's bounced a little bit. So let's put some bids down there. I already have, so I have offers on Nvidia, I have offers on Tesla, I have offers on Apple, and I'm gonna have a bid on Palantir.
All right, lots of events to come today, including one regarding Disney starting at 1 p.m. this afternoon. The annual shareholder meeting will get underway. We'll finally get, hopefully anyways, a resolution to this Nelson Peltz thing. This was actually after the close yesterday. So Vanguard's the largest shareholder currently of Disney. They've already voted to re-elect the company's current directors and board, but we'll see what happens here at 1 p.m. today.
Yeah, it'll certainly be an interesting one for sure. We do have Jay Rizzullo, former CFO of Disney, and Nelson Peltz of Trian vying for these seats. George Lucas has supported Disney, Vanguard supported Disney, but a couple different shareholder investment advisory firms showing some different opinions. So it'll be really interesting to see how this shakes out at 1 p.m.
Yeah, one of those situations where might not be much to do until then, but might be a market mover here, guys, at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, there's some rumor, at least I read a couple things where you had some people predicting that the current board has, they got the votes, the company's got the votes, and Peltz is not going to get the seat. But again, the event's going to happen. Before we get to that, VVPR here, there is news on board, including a buyback for them. The bigger story, I think, for something like this, it's a 19 million market cap with a 1.8 million float. So super tiny float, doing a day 2 run here after bouncing 5. Now it went $2 to $7.50 yesterday. So when you've already put in that big of a move, it lets you know how extreme this can be. So you want to respect, I guess, the squeeze potential of a name like this. But I never like buying highs at 925. I don't think you want to touch that one. Yesterday's top, that 750 level. If it holds previous resistance as support, that's the kind of entry, we can bounce off that at the open. That would look a little bit better, at least for me. But good volume, very small float. I think you got to be very, very careful if you're going to be trading that. As far as Disney goes, all bets are off at 1 o'clock. I think that's when the vote is. So 121 looks pretty. It was a nice consolidation area down around 121 to 121.5. That's where you had the chop and churn and breakout. It looks like there's a chance it could trend down into that. And if you see the buyers sort of step back into it and it wants to go sideways at that price, I would take a cue from there. It's got a flat top break, but it gets a good $2 away from the flat top break right now. So and the last time I traded Disney, I remember I took a breakout in it, and that wasn't the way to go at 9:30. It was like the break was good later. It was like let it do the fake, and then let it find a level, and then go. You got plenty of time till that vote.
Yeah, so that's trade idea number 2. The Disney top break, the 52-week high break of 123.74. Board meetings at 1 p.m. I don't know what's going to happen, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to trade price action like we always do. So, yeah, it got up to 123.50. Obviously, when we were writing the sticky note, it was 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You're into this area that you're hovering around this 123. We actually got as high as 123.40 right there as we went on air. But then it's fallen back in. So this is going to be an interesting level for sure. I do like that 121, but I'm going to wait. As Brendan said, it might be a little boring, but there are levels. I'm going to wait for a break of that 52-week high, which is right here. I like that. I don't have the order in right now. We'll try to be here for 1 o'clock, be able to watch out to see if anything happens, put the stop order in. If it breaks, it breaks. We'll go long, and then we'll address it from there, maybe 50 cents back to 123.50. But I can't predict what's going to happen at 1 o'clock, so I'm going to wait on Disney, but it is one of the top ideas on my board here today.
Oh, we're through it. So actually, there's a couple of things I didn't mention. AMD with regards to the chips. I only talked about Intel, but I'm going right back to looking for the channel trade here. It broke down 179. It topped out 179 yesterday. I want to short off the 179. You know why I was short yesterday? I got out at 75. Sometimes you get continuation. Yesterday it didn't, so it looked good covering at in front of 175 on the short, and I wouldn't change anything today. So I just want to play. Look at a 15-minute chart of AMD, and this is why I prefer to trade it inside of ranges. So we're not seeing 83 today, but the 79 level and the 75 level, and if I favor short, I'm looking first to short off the 79 here in advanced micro devices. I don't have the order out. About $1.50 away, but I'm thinking the same thing. The imbalance has just hit. Was there imbalance on Tesla?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Tesla just went $1.50 to the upside there. Those must be Levi warrants or something. So there's Levi's there on a report tonight. So today's the 3rd. Yeah, tonight, that's going to be the big one they'll be waiting for. So I don't see anything here on anything NASDAQ related, but that Tesla went up.
BlackBerry, son.
I mean, TSLA, I see here. But no, nice move to the upside right there. I don't know what that was about. That's giving me like feels of maybe shorting this 165 now. It's like, why did it do that? It give us an opportunity to get short there.
TSLL is the ETF, though. That's the 2 times bull.
Okay.
Why would that have an imbalance and not? That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's probably less value, right? Like it's probably not $165. But there it is. So we'll have to wait to see what happens there. But that was a good little level there that just got faded right back. So watch out now. We will be watching out for Tesla. And then let's just check in to see if Apple. So what I'm looking for is Apple short, Tesla short. DraftKings we didn't get onto. We'll talk about that. That's a short. And then Nvidia short. I'm not looking at anything long until Disney. And then Alibaba's rate at 72. So I know I've liked Alibaba before, but we're opening up too close to 72. So now we can wait to see the action on Alibaba here at 72.
Oh, no.
So, all right, here we go. Yeah, we're ready. What do you say? Oh no, for? Do you
No,
not have
well,
it?
we didn't really talk about crypto today.
We did a little bit.
did? Okay.
Yeah. I brought up that 3 times crypto bull.
I actually,
that
I'm
we
liking
wanted to talk
short.
about.
I'm like shorts on Mara today if we get some pop.
Yeah.
We'll get into that when it starts moving. In 2 and 1, the market is open.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about MicroStrategy there and how that was moving around. So yeah, Mara, another great name there for
almost
you
feel like I'm missing
crypto
something,
bugs
forgetting something.
out there. Okay, Tesla's flying, right? That's what I was just noticing as well. I think that's really good news. I mean, we've talked about that with India. I mean, we went on a little bit of a talk there on the pre-market about why I think opening up plants and all that sort of and diversifying your production portfolio, whoopsies, is always a good idea.
Diversify your bonds.
Yeah, you also want to diversify your bonds and, get some corporate in there, get some munis and things like that. Okay, so here we go. Tesla up to 166. We missed that. Now we'll sit there and fade it because it just gave it to us, gave us the idea that we were going to get back up there. We talked about getting up to that 165.50 area, and that's exactly what it hit, but it broke 165, which was the 200 period. So that's probably where we could have started, but again, a very active name here.
Meta broke 500.
Right off the jump in Meta. So someone asked, good call, someone asked if we wanted to short Meta today. No, we shorted this name the last 2 days, but it was so aggressive at the end of yesterday, like at the end of the day, that boom, I was like, huh? So we actually had Meta short off that jump right there. We had this trade yesterday, almost at the high of the day, and brought it all the way back. I'm not doing that today. If anything, I'm going to look for dip buys in Meta.
Yeah, I do. That's not a stock that I would want to be shorting. The way that it's absolutely running. I looked over at Google. Alphabet's doing absolutely nothing. Intel is already down. It broke 41.5 and got to 41.3. So it got pretty darn close to that 41 even price, and is now trying to bounce. I still want that 42 short. I mentioned Mara just briefly there, wanted to short pops. It's starting to come back into that 20 level. I have my eyes on IBIT, and as long as we're not taking out fresh highs, then I want to be fading back into here. AMD just came into 178.5.
You guys want to see fail of the century? All right. Yeah, guys, we don't want to go long Alibaba. It's too close to 72. We don't want to go long Alibaba. It's too close to 72. 72.15 up to 72.90 right there, straight up for Alibaba. But the market, I feel like we need to get some shorts like almost immediately now because the market is trying to fade off of the 50 period, does not go back there. We bounced exactly pretty much where we thought it would, down at 8.2. But we only got to 8.230 now that I look at it, which is why I tried to backtrack there. So let's see if we can get a little bit lower. I still think we want to test that 8.20. We did talk about that. So what was a name that we like short everything? So Nvidia's 8.87 and not doing anything. So I'm not going to short a name that's kind of just like it needs to be somewhere near something. We weren't looking at this until 900. If it was more near yesterday's close, then maybe. But look at this, starting to get going. So here we go. So there goes the market right now. We are into our first position. It's Tesla. It's right here at 165. So let's take a piece out for 50 cents if we're lucky enough to, 166. We'll take a piece out here for 50 cents if we're lucky enough to get that. We'll spin out a half of it. And then, hey man, if the market wants to retrace back, then all good for that. But there's that first short at 166. We told you that we had some bids there, or some offers there. So that's what we're doing. And then we're still going to respect it, man. This is nowhere near a full position as we will still wait for that 167, 168 level to come through.
The open is fast, so I'll try to catch you up there. I had AMD at 55. I got filled in front of 78 even, And then seconds later, I was filled short at 179. Like, it was just like short here to there, and then immediately short up at the top. And Reddit is absolutely gone. So I have to adjust plans on the long for Reddit because it's already at $51. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye out here for CX App, CXAI, the ticker for this one. On Monday, this company announcing a partnership with Google Cloud for some acceleration. Today, just seeming to be popping up on volume. It is worth noting they have a 10% short float, guys.
So good.
Yeah, we got that 50 cents there on Tesla. It's now breaking higher. I mean, we talked about getting half. So we are still waiting. I mean, this was an early trade because I was kind of like, eh. So we're still waiting at that 167. So let's see if we can get up to that. AMD, I know Neil just covered it, but Nvidia's not really doing too much. Nvidia's up a couple bucks right now, which is kind of strange because AMD is also up a couple dollars. One is a $900 name, one is a $200 name, give or take. So this is much more aggressive than everything else.
So Intel's at that 41, by the way.
41.
So I did quickly on AMD because that was insane. I feel like it was the same thing you were just talking about on Tesla. Like, I got a 50-cent win, reloaded, and was out of the reload like so fast. Like, it broke support. I got back into it short here, and then it broke out the top and is running. So got to run away from AMD. I'm not touching this again short unless it's like underneath 79 or back into 183 because that was really crazy whipsaw action. You just got to get out of the way when it happens. Intel broke 41. It's frustrating because that was the stock I liked the most short. So I waited until we got to the close price on on Tesla to be short, and you're now seeing it start to flush. So that's holding resistance on Tesla. Oh my goodness, Intel.
All right. Intel's heading to the downside. We've got a dollar club winner right there for Tesla, so we'll put that on the board real damn early. And then we also have 50 cents in the money. Let's face slap that as well. It's a 2-for-2 kind of day, but it's only 9:35, so these can go for 2 real quick. That's why we take profit. So there's AMD. We just have a nice short at 180. We just covered it there at 70, and now we'll see if it wants to go a little bit lower. It's now 50 cents in the money on this position, and we had it twice. So here it comes. Let's just see what happens with AMD. Again, the market's pretty hot right now. There's absolutely no doubt. Let's go AMD about that one. Let's see if we can, okay, it keeps on bouncing off 40s. Let's put a bid down there in the 40s now for AMD and see if we could get a little bit lower on this name right here. So, so far so good. Let's, come on. Yes, sir. There it is again, man. Let's get into the gates of hell, AMD. Nice trade there. Let's see how low can that one go. Advanced Micro Devices plus Tesla is good. So yeah, we'll run the gauntlet here again with a 2-for-2 start. So far so good, right? Both Neil and I
got no complaints. But I missed Mara at 20, so that's what I'm not happy about. Mara did come right into 1999. You can't even make that up. Literally tick 1999 at the open. You can't see it there. There's that little wick. I'm going to try and grab it on the way back. Bitcoin's doing absolutely nothing. I said Reddit had gone, but it's right back to the 50 level. It's the spread here. I mean, we know it's not the most liquid of names, so it's not that surprising, but the spread is still like 15 pennies. Like, this hasn't even settled down much. But I want to see it hold around 50 and then look for that long. I wanted 47, but the 50 level looking like it's going to be in play. Apparently, Amazon's also going along with Meta. But I'm not completely, convinced in the longs for something like an Amazon just yet. I know it just went green. Why is that still on Reddit? Load. There you go. Like, Amazon is right into that 52-week high and has been chopping it up around here. So it needs to clear 182. I'd be a little more cautious with this one. It almost feels like it's a short into 83 on Amazon the more I look at that. But I'm only in Tesla right now. I'll see if I can get into that Mara trade that we missed at 20 even.
Oh, man. Yeah, pretty wild morning again. The market trying to break through view up. We did get that bottom touch there at 18,230, and then a bounce up. But I mean, if we're going to look at this a little bit more, I'm still short. I think we got to break at least like 18.4 before we change that, which is still a while away. But maybe we want to get there, right? We talked about Fed speak coming through very much today. So that could be something that eventually rattles the cage But for right now, we're still net short everything. So let's try to possibly play maybe a reload here on AMD. We're right now at 04s, so we're right back up there. We've already taken some profit out. We talked about that. 2 outs, including this one at 170. Like that was, I can't believe we got that, 179.40. That was a really good fill. There's the reload again, and so here it is. One more time. Let's put another 40 cents on the board there for AMD on that out. So the couple reloads up there at the top side. Now it's more than $1 as Tesla continues to go down, and there goes AMD again. So yes, sir, it is one of those good days here for some of these trades. So yeah, nothing to complain about. We were net short the last 2 days. We stay true to what we're thinking about, and we stay short right now, but we are ear to the ground on any possible. We're going to go to it. Your earpiece is working out.
Yeah, it's working.
Right? Okay,
We're
going to go to Adair.
Keep an eye on Amazon here. AMZN, the information reporting that Amazon Web Services is laying off hundreds of physical store tech and sales staff. That's according to the information. Nice move up here for AMZN, guys.
Not working.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So there is news with that Amazon, or at least a little bit of a catalyst there. So like Intel's trying to hold on to this 41 level. You can throw out shorts at 42, at least in the short term. So VWAP, pre-market resistance, 41.20 and 41.70 come into play. But if it cannot hold on to 41, I might just try dumping it down here because, you know, with a negative catalyst like that, it is obviously relatively weak. Checking back in on another name that we're short yesterday. Oh, Apple does not give you yesterday's high. So yesterday's top was like 169.30. It looks like we're turning around at 169.10-ish even. This is exactly where it couldn't break through in the afternoon. So I'm going to try to get in the teens here to see if we can get a position started on Apple as well. Reddit can't hold that 50 level. Going to stick to the guns. If we want to be trading Apple, Intel, Mara, not in Mara. Intel really can't hold that 41 yet. So I'm going to try the short off the 41 level. Sometimes when a stock breaks down, you got to be able to look for the consolidation lower because you can't always short tops. If the stock is only going down, there's no top to short. So I'm going to jump into Intel here off this 41. Oh, I wish it was going up, but it's not.
Oh, Fabian just mentioning about Bitcoin just kind of hovering around here.
It's not doing
yeah, with more, he's reading some more negative things than positive things, which doesn't happen too often. So we'll wait to see what happens here with Bitcoin and some of the crypto names. It's not really moving. I'm not even going to check in on iBit. I mean, we could check in on Coinbase because that does move. I mean, it moves with crypto, but okay, well, maybe I'm right. Maybe it's not doing anything either. 250 level there for Coinbase if that's something that tickled your fancy. All right, back in here. Alibaba, 72's coming back in maybe. So now I feel a little more comfortable about possibly taking a long if we do come into 72 now. We've already seen that base. We really like that level. We've liked it for probably a month or last time it was down here. So that's been a good one. It hasn't been a month. When's that? March 5th. Okay. So nice move back in there for, wow, that's pretty much a month. Back in for Alibaba. So let's see if it comes back in. We've seen 72 before, but it's just these bottom levels that we're talking about. So 70, 71. Thank you so much, Randy, for the reload here. As Tesla in India, we talked about that a little bit, so maybe they can get another production plant going on there. Give a thumbs up, yes or no, that's a good idea.
Of course it's a good idea.
Maybe wait for demand to pick up before you do something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Well, you got to plan it. I don't know. You got to live in the future or think about the future there. You got to be able to plan ahead a little bit. I don't mind that play. I think they got to be doing it. Just very, very quickly, I did just get into Apple, shifting things around, and bad wick on Intel. I'm going to jump back in Intel at 10s. So I was in it off 41, got 85, so I got 96 to 85, but then stopped out for like 5 cents, which is like Intel's going to move around enough that I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to jump back in here and work off the 20 level, just give it a little bit more room. So we're back in Intel off of, it'll be VWAP right now, but it's a bit early to care about that. It's really that 41.20, 41 quarter area on Intel. So Apple just printed the teens. So I moved from 25 to 15 with the idea that I'm working off these tops from yesterday. So I had to give this one a little bit of breath here on Apple. We're still shorting into this market. So you want to give it some room as it's starting to go back into the upside. I didn't go back to AMD after the 79 level, and it looks like it's wicking the 180s. So like breaking 180, holding 180 and a half. So that would tell me money fills are above 180 at this point, and then you can stop 180 and a half.
What about the podcast, Fabian? Oh, there it is. Yeah, let's mention it right now. We do have a podcast, by the way, episode number 21 coming. Wow, who thought we would have got that far? I did, but nice move there for Tesla, Apple, and all that. Look at Tesla. Tesla right now, I know we both have this. This is now almost $2 in the money. We'll floss that off of trade idea number 1 on the sticky note is the Tesla short. So if you're going to rock with one trade, that one puts you exactly where you need to be today with that. And then AMD, we're trying to rock with the best of them as well. We are short again on a reload up there at 180. Now, 40 cents in the money, but we just stopped at 179.20 again down there on AMD. So let's put a bid. I should be bidding there already. No, I'm not. So, all right, let's put a bid down there at 179.20. Let's just put it at 30 in case we get that. And then my new position, I just talking about it last because Neil was just all over this, is Apple as well. So, I mean, I like Apple. We talked about sort of the negativity around that name over the last couple of days. But the only difference for me today, obviously, is that it is up against a negative market. That has not necessarily been the case for a minute there on Apple. So something definitely for all of us to look at there on AAPL against possibly getting out if we break near that 50, or the day's high right now is 30. Bang! Yes, sir. Good trade right there. Put the bids out. Sometimes you can get them. So we just talked about where we are, but we do have right now some breaking numbers with Adara as the shorts are paying off again.
In a couple seconds here, we're going to be getting the S&P Global Composite PMI final and Global Services PMI final. Just got Global Services here, 51.7, exactly in line with the expectation here, 51.7. S&P Global Composite PMI final slightly lower than the forecast here, 52.1 versus the forecast of 52.2. SPY not reacting too much to this here, still slightly down on the day, guys.
Names are the
The good thing about that when a number comes out is if you have orders out, sometimes you just get picked up. So there was a wick down there. I just got a 4090 on Intel. Apple did a similar move on that number. Like it wicked down into 169 even, was able to catch a fill there. Some reloading in the 20s. And going to be looking for that short up off the top, and we'll take some out in front of 69, in front of VWAP every chance we get. Tesla is in a bit of a, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I threw a bid with the number coming out like right off the low of the day, just looking to get picked up on the number. But as you can see, it didn't fill. And that's what happens. Then it comes right back. So sometimes you can take advantage if you're in position. You get that one spike one way or the other, and you look to take a little bit of profit, then you can reload the trade.
Oh, man.
So Intel under VWAP working, Tesla working, Apple now working. Meta was at 500, but you know I don't want to short that. It probably was good just now, 500 break.
Oh, man, yes, sir. Oh, man, we've got a dollar club on Tesla. We've got a dollar club on AMD. We have maybe our highest P&L winner right now with Apple, as well as that goes. And I really do appreciate this, man. eForce, thank you for your nice comments there as we go, man. And that's what it's all about. And I just said, you know what? No matter the plays that we have on board, I'm just trying to show you the trades that I have and that it is possible to, pick out some winners, get going, have the passion to do this kind of a job, and show everybody, every day, what it takes to be, hopefully a consistently profitable trader and able to make a little bit of money, at least giving some ideas. And then how everybody trades, as we keep saying, is their own decisione. But here it goes right now. Apple, I'm going to start to cover. So like I said, although I think there is a bigger downside move, I look at my position and say, hey, I have enough shares right now to cover here, to be able to put a decent risk to reward ratio into my pocket and be happy with that return. So if I talk about getting out at 169.30, we're short at 169.20. If we're now all of a sudden 2 and 3 to 1 on this trade in a matter of 5 minutes, that's something that we want to put in our pocket. And you know what? Today, right now, we might not be in first at the end of all this, but this has been a good morning. So we're just going to get out, wait for that Fed, Neil, as we mentioned, man. That could really change the market. Bostic is first. Let me just double check right here on our board.
Oh, check that. It's Bowman right now. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's speaking.
It's all later, actually. There are people speaking now, but we have Goolsby at noon, Powell at 10 after, Barr at 10 after 1, and then after hours, Kugler. K-U-G-L-E-R.
Never heard of them.
That must be a new one there. So that's, yeah, so anyways, end of the day, let's just continue to watch it. We are starting to piece out of a little bit. I'm getting a little nervous about Apple.
I'm trailing Tesla now down here. It's been 3 separate times it's wicked 164 and reversed. So higher low, and the buyers have kind of come in. Underneath 164, they're just starting to buy, and it gets back above. It got to 50. If it gets to the quarter, I'm going to get out of that trade. It'll be about, it'll be $2, but that's more coincidence than anything else. So this consolidation either breaks down and gives us a fresh low, or I'm going to trail out of it. If it gets to VWAP, we can reassess at that point. Intel still going to look for the reloads above 41. So I want to be filled above the 41 into VWAP, and then getting out into the 4080. I'll get rid of these wicks if I can, so we'll tighten these things up in Intel. And then Apple, that continues to slide. I'm thinking the low here, 168.5 at the open. We're having inside day in the market, and with Fed speakers, I don't necessarily anticipate craziness, abject craziness, to the upside or to the downside. Disney, I liked 121 on Disney. But as you can see, like it's kind of hanging out at 122. So I don't really have anything for Disney right now unless it gets a little bit lower to maybe work a long off 121. That was something I did like for a long. And then Meta, I mean, I guess if you're bullish, it's holding 500. But I find myself not wanting the longs again. I did this yesterday and talked myself out of a Google long that ended up being good, but you know what? Sometimes you just don't have to force the trade, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like Disney 121, I kind of liked, and we're not there, so.
Yeah, you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. All right, guys. Again, we just tweeted this out, and it's trade idea number 1 on here. Go short on Tesla. So boom, we're still into half of this now. Now $2.30 in the money. So good trade there, but like Neil, put in some trails, and I think that's definitely a prudent thing to do because this is an interesting name for sure. Another name right here, CGC. We've been talking some weed names lately. We had the Cannabis on yesterday, and there goes CGC right now, up 9% and ripping. Let's go, wow. Apple with a nice little downside movement. The net, she be going right now. So we're like, oh yeah, that's a nice little pullback down in for Apple. So despite the market really doing nothing, yes, sir, we spin that right now and go a little bit of diamond hands, man. I mean, this is a 3-to-1 trade. Let's put some more on the bid here as I see what's happening. We'll get a little bit out of that one. We took advantage of AMD, but not completely. Let's see if that keeps on falling. Tesla's still going to the downside. And once again, if you guys are following, we talked about it all on the sticky note that our bias was short, short, short again. We only went short yesterday, we only went short Monday, and we are only short today. And one name that could be a long, we'll talk about it after, is Alibaba. We could look at crypto. Meta, I know, is flashing, and then weed flashing in our face now as well. So let's go back over to it, Darren, and see what's up.
Yeah, another cannabis name to keep an eye on here. ACB up about 12%. Aurora Cannabis, lots of attention for this one on social media. We did have as well yesterday a nice move up for some of these cannabis-related names after the Florida Supreme Court allowed for the vote on recreational marijuana legalization. So nice move up here, continued momentum for ACB. I
actually want some of these weed names long. I'm looking between the two, and ACB's up more, but CGC's breaking out off that $9 level that it couldn't. It's a double top break on CGC here with room to $10. So it's going to be the setup over the one that's stronger, if that makes sense to everybody. So the setup here is long over 9, and it looks like, give it to about 880 on this name. So I'm just going to get that in. I want to take a fill closer to $9 if I can. Oh, the other thing that happened, I said money fills over 180 on AMD. So when I say money fills, actually in the lesson of the day, I'm going to explain what I mean about that, because this is it's actually a Luca term that I've co-opted. But when you get these wick tops and it's showing you highs like that, where 180 is a resistance, but it's popping above 180 and it's trending up, then take the fills over with the stop way above the top there at 180.5. And now if it plays to VWAP, you can be taking profit. So gonna rinse and repeat this. So we went one win, and then we took the hit, waited for it to show a level, and now the 180 is back into play. So we're long CGC. I said I wasn't going to force them long, but the weed names are very much in play. I'm checking on an Apple. I want that low at 168.5 if I think it's going to be an inside day. I'm just going to get the bids out there. Intel's, it's still holding the same range, like 41.20 down to 40.80, so it's about 1% worth of range on Intel. If it takes out the top, I'd be a little surprised, but my eyes are on it. If it breaks 41.20, I have to back off this because it's consolidating down here. So short pretty much everything except for weed.
Oh, this just came back up. I just wanted to talk about this, but I wasn't sure what we were going to do. Yeah, exactly. Those are the catalysts, man. I mean, those weed calls, good call there, and good look at them. Regardless of what happens with any of the trades, it's like you want to get into names that are actionable, especially at this time of day. So good look on there. We'll look at Disney in a minute as well. Yeah, so AMD just flew back to the upside here. It's still like a top name. You know, like we've still done really well on AMD today, but I'm a little uncertain of what we want it to, or what it wants to do, because it's really battling around this 50 period and 180 right now. And it's holding above, VWAP while the market's below. So I'm not going to reload this, but I want to hold the short. So I have what we have now. I'm going to put another bid down here at 179. I mean, we've really been, you know, the trader that we've wanted to be here in the last couple of days. And that is to, I mean, you saw yesterday where we were 4 for 4 by the time we left at 11 o'clock. And it's not, you could go 0 for 4. It's not about how your wins or losses come through. It is about how your wins or losses come through, not about the end result, in my opinion, because the end result is a result of the market doing what it is and the names doing what they are. If you get your money in at the right spot, I mean, me and Neil always use poker analogies and things like that.
Get in good.
You can't really be too upset if the stock goes against you, because you looked at it, you believed in that level, you've put, and this is what I tell Obi too, and I even had this discussion with 3 or 4 traders the other day, and it's like, why are we even here if we're not going to take trades that we believe are going to work in our favor? So you could change your opinion. You know, Neil and I could be like, oh, we want to short Intel, and then Intel rips and we completely go long. That's us changing our opinion, which as a day trader is a vital.
I'm not going long.
No, that may be a bad example, but that's a vital thing you need to have. You cannot be stuck in one way or the other, because then when it rips your face off and you're just averaging into the wrong way, you gotta have the ability to flip over, and that's something that I've tried to work on myself. So I'm speaking out of spot of experience and hopefully truth, that all of you traders are seeing us, even me and Neil, changing month to month, week to week, day to day on something that we're doing. But at the end of the day, I feel that when we're talking about this, and look, maybe this is a really good segue. I don't know, sometimes I just talk and it rambles on forever, which is most of the days. Tesla's trade idea number 1, my number 1 P&L, I mean, we're $3 in the money on Tesla, and we have one damn trade on it. And it's the short that we wanted, a rip off the open. I cannot do that any better. And we both have this. You know, that's trade idea number 1. Trade idea number 2 hasn't hit the market yet. It's 1 o'clock, we're waiting for Disney, and we'll look at that. Trade idea number 3 is an Apple short, which is my number 1 P&L name there today. So again, I'd hope that both of these ideas would both be my number 1 losers as well. But it's just, they've worked out. We've believed in those trades, and you know, do your work, do everything like that. And that might be a clip that moment. I have no idea.
So there was just speaking of Tesla, by the way, there was just a liquidity grab under the low of the day. So I've moved my trail when that happens. I had it a little bit tighter to like the quarters, like up here, but I've tightened it to the 64 because of this little volume spike under the low of the day. Yesterday, Tesla actually made the open its bottom and then put in some higher lows. So if it's gonna put in a higher low here, then I want to jam out of this and then work till the next trade, like whatever the next trade might be. Maybe it's VWAP, maybe it's right back hit 166.5. Like I don't know what that next entry is going to be on Tesla. So I'm out of the trade for now. We'll see what happens next. We got 164 on the out, so we'll ring the register. It could easily continue to flush. You know, I wouldn't discount that whatsoever. I was joking when I said I wouldn't go long Intel. There's no such thing as never for me. Like it could absolutely show me some kind of a setup for a long, but I've now just taken it a 4th time off this VWAP 41.20 level. And if it breaks out from here, I'm going to get out at the quarter and then work to the next trade. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to give it away just because you're being stubborn. Well, it has to be a short. It doesn't have to be a short. Like it can break VWAP and I look for something else. AMD is breaking VWAP to the downside. I want to see this back at 178. If I thought 178 was a reason to get out of the short when I was short at 179, then short up at 180, I'm going to think the same thing. So if we get down to 178, I want to get out of that bad boy. Meta, just to check in, I'm not trading Meta, but you know, it looks like 500 was a good hold after all. So anyone trading Meta, I think you got something off the 500 level. The market's not doing a heck of a lot, and this is relatively strong. So if you're going long something, I feel like Meta could be the one. Not that I want to be long it. Oh, there goes CGC. I actually got a fill on the offer of CGC, but it was only for a third. So I got tagged for a third at the high of the day, and then it broke the previous high. So breakout trade off the top. I was able to get tagged here, like right in front of 920, and then it took out yesterday's hop to the downside. So I'll trail out of it. I still like the long. Maybe we'll go dip buy hunting, but from the structure, it couldn't take out that 920 level, so I then gave it to that local high. Still only want to be looking long for those names. So far, so good. Just don't force trades. I haven't heard anything crazy from any Fed members or whoever that guy was that was talking, so we can keep our ears to the ground there.
Here we go, Fabian CPM. Look at this. AMD straight down, man, at $1.20, right into these levels again. I'm bidding 178.50. Let's see if we can get something out at the 50-period moving average right now. But we are starting to head lower now. This is all good, man. This has been a real good day. For Tesla, yeah, that just bounced off 163 again down there. I feel like that's going to be the out, man. We said yesterday on on the sticky note that this 162, actually we said it today, 162 was not really a level yesterday. It was in the pre-market off that horrible delivery number. So something to watch out for at that bottom. I feel like we should put a bid here, 163.50 for sure. All right, numbers now at 10 with Adara.
Just waiting for some of these numbers to come in here. The key number being ISM Services PMI. We just got in the ISM Services prices coming in lower than expected, 53.4 versus 58.4 expected. ISM Services PMI, though, right here, 51.4 is the number here, lower than the consensus of 52.6. We also have ISM Business Activity higher than the consensus estimate here. We also have ISM Services Employment a little bit higher, 0.5 higher. ISM New Orders lower than expected here. So a bit of a mixed picture, but the key number here, ISM Services PMI 51.4 versus consensus of 52.7, forecast of 52.4. So overall lower than expected for ISM Services PMI. Nice spike to the upside here for the SPY off of that number here, guys. In terms of other names to keep an eye on, we have Dave & Buster's, PLAY being the ticker for this one, up about 10%. They missed earnings across the board, but they didn't announce that they're doubling the share buyback program. So nice look there for PLAY. We also have DJT here, Trump Media, trying to turn around a little bit. The company suing its co-founders. So bit of an interesting look here for DJT, guys.
Never more of an important time to maybe have watched out the importance for numbers, as most of these highs.
We were just talking about Wix on numbers.
Yeah, no, I was more about the Fed talk, but yeah, Wix on numbers, same difference.
Same thing.
That's literally the exact same thing. So we'll wait.
Like I can recap quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Apple. Okay, so Apple, we're shorted down into VWAP, reload, broke out. Intel, we're short that one off. It's not okay. It's VWAP as well, but that wasn't necessarily the reason I was short that price. Reload. I actually got a fill.
All right.
Right under at 40.90, and then it broke out the top. AMD, like you just go right down the line. AMD was right underneath VWAP looking fantastic, and then get like the overfill, not overfill, but the fill over VWAP in here, and that could be taking out the local high, and then we'll get out of that one. So what was fantastic early, and I just got Mara as well, Mara breaking. I got pre-market highs here. There's a wick at like 2010, but if you zoom it out a little bit further, there is some overhead resistance. I'm jamming out of this trade and waiting for it to get into 2030. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna hold Mara from 1990 all the way to 2030. I'd rather, if I like the short, let it calm down and short back in there. So I'm gonna try and keep us a little bit tighter to the vest. Intel, if it calms down, the market's still going and Intel's barely above VWAP. So I see that one as a reload potential. I got out of Tesla and I still see it as an opportunity to get back into it. So Intel's looking relatively weak, being down that 6%. So I feel like that's the most likely reload. And then Tesla as well. Right back up at that original price. So I got out near the bottom on a trail, and now the market's screaming enough. But I want this, like, calm down, market.
Yeah,
chill, Winston.
It's going up here. That what
chill,
was that?
Winston.
That number was. ISM non-manufacturing, 54.4 versus 55, so lower, right? So the market goes up there because, again, now we're back in that time where bad numbers are good and good numbers are bad, most likely, because we are waiting for the Fed to come out and do something with these rates. And we're hoping, obviously, for, well, I don't know what we're hoping for at this point, to be honest with you, because the market has been hitting all-time highs with the rates doing nothing. But okay, so that stops us out of AMD. We are still very net positive on AMD, although it is pulling back in. We got out right here, right now at 180.30. So we could take it again, but I don't really want to do that. The market just turned green. I'm already dug back in here into Apple, so we're just short at 55. We just got a 47 fill, but we did get taken out when that move happened. So then we reassessed our position, and this is what we're doing, right? Like, we still wanted 170 short.
Holy Nvidia.
Oh, okay, well, that would make sense. So you want to go over to NVIDIA. I'm just holding out for Apple lower, basically. Long story short, reload on Tesla, hold for Apple lower, and it doesn't surprise me, Neil, because we just looked at AMD ripped up to the upside. So here comes NVIDIA. I'm actually waiting on
The
NVIDIA.
900 levels right here.
Yeah, I'm right here. I just got missed, so I'm at 898. So let's see what happens with NVIDIA coming back in now. But my whole morning is still completely intact because we loaded the you-know-what back on Apple short. But for right now, that is position pending, as I'm not sure where this market wants to go. We're short Apple right now, just a dime in the money, or 15 cents in the money.
Yeah, the reload for me first is on Intel, but as I was sort of saying, like, Nvidia is at 897 is the high, but it's so close. Once Nvidia gets within $5 of a level, you want to be already looking at it because it'll get that last $2 or $3 to your entry like super quick. So you want to be locked and loaded and ready to go with it. So we are getting close to 900 on Nvidia. I was going to double check in on Meta. I'm back over to Intel because when everything else is screaming, this can't even seem to break the pre-market. Like the pre-market low before the open break was at 41.40, and that can't seem to get too far away from it. So it's still looking a little bit sluggish compared to everything else. So if you're going to fade something, why not that? Meta's probably, it's too far gone over the 500 level. Look, I'm going to look for longs on Meta. So if it gets to VWAP, fine. If it fails a 505 break, maybe a pullback into 503. This, like, Meta looks like a long. If the market's a long, Meta's a long.
All right, let's ring a little bit of a register right now because we took another 50 cents on Tesla. And now we're just going to hold again. We still got the position on. That's another name that we want to look at here. Tesla coming back in one more time. I have shares on Apple. So honestly, if I can get 10 or 15 cents on this sort of market uncertainty here and get out of half, even just for that, I'll do that because we did lose on Apple going back up to the upside. We were net positive on Apple today, but we were up a lot more than just me simply saying net positive. But we did give some back on that ISM manufacturing number, and that was pretty stupid of me to do that. I think so anyways. All right, so here's the start for, we just have, I'm going to wait for Tesla to do its thing where, you know, we're going to wait for that because I just got another position on board. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we'll do this. We are in Nvidia short now. So here we go, man. We're short at 899, but this market is really going. So let's be very, very careful here. Where are some of our targets? 896. I mean, if we could get a bid at 897, I think that's worth it. Let's just put it there before I talk in case we do get a flush. But 900 is incoming, man. So here we go. This is what we waited for. You know, we waited for this. So we'll take another short in and around here, 901, 902. We are waiting for that 905. So I'm not levered up too much yet here.
Big seller underneath 99.
Yeah, well, we're already short. So let's just see what happens here. This is 905. So that's kind of the level that I was thinking about if NVIDIA really gets super spicy. But right now we're 50 cents in the money on NVIDIA. We're 40 cents in the money on Tesla. But this is nothing to talk about because we are waiting for $2 win here on NVIDIA, hopefully, because we're at least taking that much risk. And these are just starter positions. So we'll take that for what it's worth and let our heart rate settle down here. We have Apple, NVIDIA, and Tesla short, like... Hello, we're dancing with a couple devils here, so let's hope that they do come through for us.
Yeah, look, 900 on Nvidia is 900. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It is what it is at this particular time. So if you're looking for fade plays, well, what are you going to do? AMD off the 181.5 is doing the same thing, where that $1.50 above the dollar above a price, it's giving the over/under. Intel just hit the bid for me, so that's starting to work. There goes Nvidia. I'm going to ring register first at 98 because of this. So look at yesterday's range, 900 to 901, but then this is 97.5. So I want it out in front of that before I look at the close price of 94.5. So this is a playback into 94.5, which means I'm just going to put 95 as the out on that. Maybe not exactly 95 because you don't want to put it at the exact round number. Intel just hit the bid again at VWAP. So if it starts holding VWAP up here, then it's stair step to the upside, and I got to walk away from the reload of the long. Or the short, sorry, I'm long. I haven't been long Intel. No, if it holds VWAP, then you've got higher lows, and I don't need to be reloading the same price if it's doing the stair step into the upside. I should be looking for a new entry price if it's going to do that play. So AMD starting to pull back in. It does a wick shimmy above 181, the same way it did it at 180 originally. So I jumped out of that trade. We'll take a hit, take a win, take a win, take a hit, and now I'm looking to get out in front of 180 at VWAP. So make sure you're banking profit because this market is starting to look strong. Never got the long in Meta, which is obvious. As you can see, I have no long positions.
I mean, this is exactly. It's always great when the stuff we talk about, the stuff I talk to the guys about, the stuff I talk to you guys about. We talked about Nvidia. It's again, Tesla short, Apple short, Nvidia short, everything as written, and we are right back to our day's high right now today. Stay with what you're doing, man. That's honestly like I can't do anything. I can't say anything better than that. I mean, look at this. Look at Nvidia coming back in here. Look at Apple. Like, we are at the highest spot we've been at all day, and I was just like, oh man, we were so mad about what just happened there on the that number. We weren't mad, but just disappointed in what happened on that number. So there it is, man. The Tesla on the reload. Let's get going. I mean, Neil, what a great opportunity to short all the way up there. That Tesla 166 is now another. First of all, Nvidia is now $3 in the money. We still have a piece. When do we want to take this bad boy out?
I'm out.
Exactly. Great trade, man. Great trade there. That's what we're doing. And then look at this trade also on Apple, man. Great trade here for Apple as that's pulling back in right now. So yes, sir, this has been a very, very profitable morning. Needless to say, and I want to thank everybody for watching us. It's only 10:10, man. This is why I come into work every single day. Like, I'm so happy to be sitting here and trading every single day. You guys actually really, truly have no idea, to be honest with you. But here we go. Another move to the downside, and there it is, man. Highest spot we've been at all day. We're killing it over here, guys. Neil, great short there. Nvidia all the way down to 895. Apple is really going to be P&L number one here. But yeah, Nvidia, great play. AMD, great play today. We don't have any negative names. I mean, this has been such an eventful morning, and we kind of thought that, right? Economic numbers plus Fed speak.
But we're still inside. The good thing is we're still inside the ranges, so you're getting opportunities to be able to still play the levels that you were looking at in the morning, which is fortunate because a lot of times on the bigger days, if you don't get the first trade, your levels are gone. You're not going to be able to catch it. But Nvidia, look, my trade is obviously a little bit different because I was shorting it to 900. So I shorted in front of 900. I was probably risking about $1 when you consider slippage. So I'm taking some out when it gets to 98, and then when it gets down into the previous close, I'm jamming out of the trade. So it's very much a scalp trade on Nvidia for me. Get in, get out, which has been better for me on Nvidia in particular. Intel is going to continue to now it's going to continue to go down. I think this could see $40 today. So I want to look for re-entries, maybe back underneath VWAP, or now I can reload at that level if it gets back to like 41.40. So let's look for Intel to continue to be a good short. The one I got to be worried about is, AMD is the most trend up. If you look at this, and the 50 period, like it failed the 50 period yesterday, but it's been up and down the 50 period for a week and a half, actually 2 weeks now. And that's sitting at 182. So it isn't unreasonable that it could actually test 182 or even 83 before making a definitive top today. So have to be very, very careful shorting this. And I've seen a lot of questions about DXYZ or Z, whatever.
That's that name from yesterday.
Yeah, we're Canadian, so bear with me when I say Z. This is like 30%,
wow, guys. SpaceX,
and then a couple of other things. It's very thin to trade. I think this is an interesting look for an investment. I know it's moving right now, but it's on 200,000 in volume. You can't really trade this as a day trader. 200,000 volume, 25-cent spread as we speak. There's no liquidity on it. But I think it's an interesting investment vehicle if you're interested in like OpenAI and SpaceX. But I will not be trading this stock.
Thank you so much, Jay Vanderweer from Vandalay Industries. Thank you to Kevin Mendoza. Everybody in the chat, man. I mean, yeah. No, it's tough to sit here and trade and do all this, which is sort of why we brought out the sticky notes, so we can sort of talk about that a little bit. But yeah, good trading there today. And like I said, remember I said, let's just take a breath and let's calm down and, you know, not have heart attacks and so on and so forth. So that's like, you know, what we've been doing here. And it's really paid, like, you know, it's really, really paying off. To sit back and relax and just be able to see levels and trade the names that you really, really like to trade. And like I said today, we'll run the gauntlet again. And NVIDIA, you know, we've been really nailing Tesla lately and NVIDIA. So for me, this is kind of what we've been doing. So we're going to stay doing that. I'm bidding 894 right now to see if we can get a dip down. It is really not breaking 895. So this is something to rethink about. We are $4 in the money if we take an 895 fill. So debating taking something there and then letting the rest sort of ride to the downside, because we, like I said, we do have enough to do that. So let's do that. Let's take an 895 if it seems to not be wanting to break. So we'll do that again, and if it goes back up to the upside, we'll trade it appropriately from there. We've been getting out, so we got out some more Apple. The funny thing about Apple for me, anyways, we'll punch some more out there at 32, is that MU is exploding. Okay, we'll look at all these stocks. Trust me, I mean, I want to look at them all. We didn't even get to one of my trade ideas on DraftKings yet, and it's 10:14, but. You know, this name's
Disney,
strong.
no.
Disney break 121 down, or that was
Hell no, it didn't break 121.
Okay.
It bounced.
Here's another name. We're just getting a spike in activity on DocuSign. DocuSign's another podcast name, by the way. So here's a good opportunity. Yeah, what's up, Vince? There it is. So on the podcast, we actually talked about DocuSign being able to be bought down at these levels. So I don't know if you guys are listening to the podcast or looking for investment advice. If you are, again, they're just ideas. They're not necessarily advice, but you can listen. We give those every single week. I talked about DocuSign down here when they lost their bid, and boom, right back into those levels and then right back up again, another 20% from the bottom. So congratulations on anybody that hit DocuSign down there in the low 50s. I do really like that stock.
What was the actual news there?
Today, no, nothing. Just a spike right now.
Oh,
volume.
okay.
I don't know.
No, I just assume when I see a spike like that
yeah.
that there was an update or something, because that's a massive volume spike. I know it's not a lot. It's not a lot of raw volume. It's 300,000 shares on Docu, but it also had done literally zero. Like it quadrupled its volume in one print. Okay, so I just assumed there was something going on. But new high, and I'm getting out every time I set a stop on AMD. You got to take it. This is now it's just getting out of hand to the upside. So I jumped out of Nvidia. In hindsight, again, like you trade sort of the way you trade, and I was trading that back in 95 because that was a previous support level. So I'm out that one. Do I want to reload 900? I'm not really thinking so, and the reason why is I just feel like it's been a good short, but the NASDAQ just went a heck of green and broke out this top, and it's looking pretty bullish right now. So I don't know that I want to throw away the early money by fighting the trend. And there happens to be like Intel's still underneath VWAP and showing you some weakness. So I feel like that could be a safer play for the short. As far as the Meta long goes, like Meta doesn't want VWAP today. I should have just taken VWAP when that number came out, or 500 when that number came out, because that was your really good chance. It was on that, with the PMI. It was the PMI number when this wicked under 500, snapped back instantly, and you could have just been long back through 500. And was yelling about Disney because Disney bounced off 121, and I'll slap the fail on myself because I didn't take that long. It's already back to VWAP, and it's pulled back a dollar. So maybe we can get another shot at this one before 1 o'clock. But I'm going to wait for the 121 again.
All right. So again, you know, we talked about covering our positions down there on Apple. We did that. It came right back into the day. Now it's coming back up to the upside. So let's wait to see what happens there with Apple for sure. But you guys remember earlier on today when we were talking about that bottom of 18.2, and I said the NASDAQ, if it's going to be a short, would probably be a short if we got to 18.4. Well, we just got to 18.4. So there it is, man. That high is 90. We pull back now 15 handles. So if you were shorting those levels that we talked about, you're now 20 handles in the money, and we're going to see if it goes even. Whoops! Oh no, I just closed my chart. Then we're going to see if we can even go lower than that. I am debating reloading Apple. I'd like to get it a little closer to 169 because again, Neil just mentioned something that is obviously important, and that is that you don't want to make different decisions now because you want to preserve some of the capital and make potentially new decisions because now the market's really breaking out. I mean, it's a nice move to the upside there. So again, if you're going to look for some shorts, I think you're getting close to getting stopped out of those because that 8, and I just closed the chart on the longer time frame, but I really like that 18,400. So I'm going to reopen a chart on eSignal and see if I can get that to populate the exact same one that just closed.
So man, I was just asked to look at GameStop. Possibly because if you're looking for things to short, why not short the worst? It's down 2.5%. Look at the trend on this thing. Why are we not just short this every single day since it broke 13? And what I mean by that is flat bottom break, hold under, short it, short it, short it, short it, until the cows come home. I don't even like that saying. I'm not a farmer. But yeah, short the pops. 1125, that's previous support. That would be my 2 cents is, okay, well, it quadunked and then flat bottom broke. So just look for shorts on the stock. The last one would be short it back into pre-market low, which was yesterday's low at 1125. It pops 20 cents. You risk 10 cents to 30s or something like that. That looks pretty interesting as far as I'm concerned. Nvidia right now is right back at the 900 level. I said I wasn't going to reload because of the strength in the market. Now what I'm contemplating is, do I want to try a breakout? A 900 break on Nvidia. But before that even happens, Tesla, I'm on the offer of Tesla. Okay. You can make the decision there, but also it's wait a minute, no, I'm on the offer of Tesla off the high. I'm still looking to short Tesla off this high. So I'm going to get on this above the 166, see if that can play back in VWAP. I'm still holding Intel because it is not looking as strong as the market. But Tesla, third time up here at the 166.5.
All right, yeah, I got to relook at that. Okay, so yeah, Nvidia back upside. We sort of talked about that one. I am going to wait for a little bit more on Apple. We mentioned that up into, damn it, that stupid chart didn't load, and I just spent a couple seconds looking at that. Apple, yeah, I mean that 170. If we break higher than that, then I don't think. I mean, we wrote down that was a level that we were talking about. So let's just continue to watch out for that. We are short right now. I'm going to short a little bit more here, but this is not the level. I want something closer to 170 flat before we really put on a decent position, but we're already back up here, so we can hold out for that, see if it pops up, and then we'll get out if we break too much greater than 170. So that'll be my kind of limit there. And if it comes through, it comes through. Nvidia's right back to 9 builds. So this is going to be maybe a good reload spot here. And let's just find out if that is a good reload spot for Nvidia or not. But there it is. We take some more shares and we'll see what happens. And we go over to the desk as it's 10:20 with Adara.
Nice push up here for the IWM right now. Failing right now to make new highs of day, but about 0.5% to the upside for the Russell 2000. In terms of individual movers here, we do have Vanda Pharmaceuticals. VNDA is the ticker for this one. This one up almost 50% after receiving FDA approval yesterday evening for its treatment for bipolar disorder. We also have ATAI. This is ATAI Life Sciences, ticker is also ATAI, getting upgraded to a buy rating with a $6 price target here from Maxim Group. This one up about 13%. Last but not least here, ABIO, this is Arca Biopharma, announcing its merger with Aruka Therapeutics, up over 100%. Lots of these moving around today, guys.
Okay, we did not get that Tesla. We're up at Tesla 167 to see because we don't want to get out of this until a 168 break. But the thing is, man, we already talked about this. We have Fed speakers. We have all this kind of stuff happening. We got a great, apparently, was it PMI? ISM? Yeah, PMI at 10 o'clock there. I don't remember what the 945 number was because that was so long ago. Yeah, ISM non-manufacturing there at 10 o'clock was 54.4 versus 55.5. And then as of 10 o'clock, that has really, nothing else has changed. We talked about that, right? I mean, when nothing changes, it's tough to get away from that bias. But again, we're still going to be short right here. We haven't done too much else. We did reshort, or no, we did not reshort Tesla. That was a name that we were looking to do. Nvidia is still kind of in the pocket here. I mean,
keystroke the breakout because
Okay, it is making the move up right now.
kind of
I was waiting for 902 flat, so at this point I might as well just wait there. I could put it at 75 and get the fill now. Maybe we should. Let's just wait. It's only 30 cents away. We'll get that 902. This is the level that we've really wanted, but we were able to take advantage of that there, and then we average it in again. This actually, our average in went $1 in the money. This broke again. It went to 898.75 here. Look, it went to 898.75 on that move right there. 898, yeah,
We're
75.
flying now.
So now, yeah, exactly what Neil was just saying there. Now
No,
the market,
Meta's at broke 505.
the market's flying. I mean, this is a huge move. Back up to 18,400. So here's the move. It's at there right now. Looks like it wants to break it. To me, this was kind of the max pain area. So I guess we should have shorted some more Nvidia up there. We're still waiting at 902. Let's see if we can get picked up there. Damn, that we just missed that at 902. That would have been nice. Oh, man. All right, what's up, Abe?
Massive spike to the downside here for Rio Tinto. RIO is the ticker for this one. Basically, some reports that its Norwegian fund may be divesting from this company amid possible alleged links to deforestation in Brazil. This is reported by Wall Street Journal. So Norwegian fund looking to divest from this company with regards to possible deforestation links, guys.
Yikes. That's not necessarily good. But
I'd say no.
See, here's the thing. Like, to me, I've been getting out of the way on the way up on AMD, and it looks like I made a top wick just now. But you got to be able to accept that because I don't want to throw away the morning profit. So I'm going to be willing to make some top wicks and then look for a re-entry. Like that just happened, and I'm not even back into it the way the market's screaming. I did get the reload in Tesla. I got the quarters. It pulled right back into first resistance at the 80, so took the 50 cents, and then it took out the top. So I'm getting out and backing away till 68 or at least till 67.5 and looking for re-entry off yesterday's high. Because if the market's trending up, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to get the better price. It just feels like it's that kind of a thing. Nvidia, yeah, I'll be a little bit frustrated because I think I went long. I was in Tesla at that same fill. And I went over to Tesla, and I got the Nvidia fill, but it looks like I had a stop order that just got me out right away. Like I had it, and it triggered long, and it triggered out right away. That's a keystroke error on my part, and I wasn't on the level 2 because I was over at Tesla. The long would have worked out because it got to the 2.5 before breaking 99, but I'm not in it, so it doesn't really matter. Intel is still under VWAP. But I'll be very careful where we reload this. I want the market to turn around and show me a curl that I can stick with this one to the south side. Intel is going to continue to be a dog. It's down 6%. If you can't break VWAP when the market's breaking out like this, you suck. I'm just saying. Like that's why I was interested when GME was talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Although, as I speak, GameStop is cracking VWAP right now. So Intel can't even crack VWAP. Even GameStop is cracking VWAP. Even that's looking pretty strong. Meta's out of pocket for that long. I think that was just a straight up missed opportunity at that 500. So I'm looking for VWAP. It's just all higher lows here for Meta. So until it gives me a dip buy, I'm not chasing tops. I'm liking short too much to chase tops for longs.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I wish we weren't chasing too much here. I don't feel like we are. I feel like a lot of these names are kind of floating up to the levels that we thought they were, but it's just happening real quick because the market is completely a long right now. So like I said, we can't sit here and talk about taking fills where we want them and then don't take them when they come up. So this 905 here for Nvidia, probably, oh man, we're up 1% now. The market's really rocking, but we're at that 18,400. So to me, this is a trade that we're willing to do. You know, we're in it, and we're averaged out at $900.50. So right now, it is about a $2.50 hit if you want to take it out. I'm going to let this continue to go to the upside and see what happens. More importantly here is Apple. Apple's really starting to go. Apple's at that 170 level. This is a level that we thought we would maybe be able to take some shares at. So we'll do that, and then we'll see what happens. Right now for Apple, we're short at 90s. So again, you know, nice pullback would be nice here, especially if we get a little bit of one off of this level, but it doesn't look like it, man. It's hanging out on the upside. Watch out for Apple to break. You know, the programs are buying up this market right now. It seems like they really like that number. I don't know if people are buying this ahead of Powell or what, but here we go for Apple making that move to the downside now, but again, retraced all the way back up to that 170. We wanted the short here, so we're short at 87s. I mean, this is exactly where we should be. So happy with this. Let's go back over to Adair quickly.
This story a little bit from earlier that could contextualize some of this Tesla move up here. TSLA, seeing news that Tesla in China offering zero interest loan in vehicle purchases. So interesting note here coming from Tesla China as Tesla breaks to the upside, guys.
Okay, that
Zero
kind of
interest
changes.
loan.
Maybe I didn't
Go
see
for
that
it.
one coming.
So look, there's a little bit of size on Apple. I don't think it matters at 170. It's enough that it might take a few seconds for it to break, but it's not enough that it'll have trouble going through. So it did do that like wick shimmy up and down. I have my stop. I don't like even dollar stops on Apple. I learned my lesson with the 180 last year that you just can't do that. So I traded it right off 99s. I actually got 96s and 97s on that one. But I'm going to give it just a little bit above. And to me, when it stopped out that level, I waited for this one. So we got back up to the 170. I want this short back to that close, which is the 80 level, then to 60, then to 40, and then VWAP. So those are going to be the targets to the downside on Apple. We're still in Intel, but Rohit, you are right. There's other things going. Micron. I mean, we showed Nvidia. Nvidia is only up 1%.
There goes Apple.
But Micron is up 3%, and Hunting, I mean, this is already 52-week highs if we were to close up here, but the actual top is like 127.80. So it's within earshot of that. It's a heck of a bull run, and the only thing I wanted long we didn't get, so it is what it is on Meta. Just wasn't willing to put the long on at that time. Like that was like 9:45, and I was way too bearish to force the action on a long trade. Try not to give back too much of the morning, but if Apple takes out a fresh high, that's going to happen. But I like to short up at the 170. It's already done the wick. If it doesn't make a fresh high, this should give us at least a scalp pullback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving it all back because we're right here short, waiting to see what happens. So we'll wait to see what does happen here. I mean, it's 10:30. Should be a decent spot for the market to start to move a little bit. But if we go upside, I mean, we're short everything, and the market's going up. So there's that 18.4. This is the level for us. I mean, I'm tired. Honestly, I'm a little bit tired of saying that because we need this market to pull back just a little bit. We are short Tesla, though, right here at 167. So a little bit of a break lower on that one would be pretty nice. But again, all these levels are starting to go. So we got to watch out for 168. Like, this is not the time to be like a superhero and just average in all the way up. We have our levels. They all came in. And then when they go against you, they're supposed to put you into a nervous spot. You know, I mean, I feel like that's fine. You don't want to be comfortable too much when you have decent amount of shares on it. We could get blown out here and go back up to the upside and then give, like I said, give back that day. But levels hit that we like. The only thing I should have gotten out of, and we talked about that, man. Right at 10, we should have switched up. So the only trade that I'm really mad at, and we won't even really be down that much, is Apple. It's just we gave it back. And it's like we saw that Apple was strong today. We talked about that. It was strong against the market early. We just believed in 170. We got there real quick, man. We got there in about like 20 minutes off 169. So I thought it was worth it for a short, and I still do think that it's worth it. So that's why we're sitting in here waiting to see what happens. But if it takes it out, we're not going to give it too much more time, man. We've hovered up here too long. I haven't got anything out. And it looks like it'll be a 20-cent hit or so. So yeah, Apple, we'll give it back on this because we do have, you know, big position, so that's not too comfortable, but we'll wait to see here what happens with Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla. But for now, we got to go back over to Adara. Our Nvidia trade is $1 out. We'll wait.
Interesting look here with some of these stable coins as the Bitcoin rally gets a little bit more stalled here. I'm reading this out from CoinDesk. Apparently, the cumulative supply of the top 3 stable coins is actually at its highest level since May 2022. So cumulative supply at $141.42 billion for the top 3 stable coins. Interesting look there. In terms of Bitcoin itself, giving a little bit of a pop to the upside here after falling for 2 straight days on Monday and Tuesday, finding a bit of support here at the actually previous area of support as well around this 66 level. Right now, Bitcoin at 666 here, 66,600, up just under 1%. Ethereum also finding some support at 33, about 33.50 right now. Solana up about 5%, nice look pushing into 190. Ripple down about 1.3%, Doge down about just shy of 3%. Shiba Inu up about 2.3%, so a bit of a mixed look for some of these cryptocurrencies. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
So there goes that high, local high on Apple. Now my style of trading, where we essentially take range trades, and then I'm going to get out when it gets that top. I'll be red on Apple. At the end of the day, you got to try to control the hit. So make sure you stick to your plan. I am willing to make a top wick and look bad when that happens, but then at the end of the day, when it trends up, I'm just going to be getting out of the trade. It's the same, like look at AMD. Like I could still be, in theory, in this because it's been controlling itself to the upside, but once it takes out that high, like that short, you take some profit, but stop it when it goes against, stop it when it goes against, stop it when it goes against. Try to control it. Now I'm waiting for 183 because if I don't get a reasonable long, I'm not chasing tops. If I don't get a reasonable entry into the trend long, I'm not going to force it. Intel has stayed in the pocket the whole way because it stinks. But I want to get over to what just happened to Ulta. So I haven't seen anything hit Benzinga for, I don't know if you have on Ulta, but Ulta's down 13% here. I'll let you guys know if I see anything. Like obviously Ulta has news. Let me just do another search for it. It looks like there was a presentation at JP Morgan's retail roundup that disappointed. So they have a presentation at a retail conference held by JP Morgan, and they're getting destroyed for it. I'm not going to trade. I'm not trading it because it's kind of out of nowhere. But if you're wondering, there is a presentation happening at a JP Morgan conference. Ulta Beauty's down 13%, so they're getting smoked. I think it's a pretty solid company, but without knowing what's going on, I wouldn't just blindly jump on the bid. It's not Palo Alto. Like Palo Alto, when that thing tanked, I was kind of ready to be buying the 200 period moving average. I don't know about this one here. It's actually broken the 200 period by like $12. That's nasty.
Yeah, I find like I don't know enough about that company to know enough about it. Basically,
everyone I know that uses like a lot of they love them.
Yeah.
Mark Roberts would love this company. There's so many people I know love them. But
I want to make an announcement to everybody around here. We got the email earlier on that our Sephora order has shipped. So that's great. So we'll get some more makeup on when that comes through. All right, so
yay!
I just want to talk quickly about Nvidia because we have multiple opportunities to get this out for flat. If you guys want that, our position. I mean, you probably don't. No one has the same average positions as us. I mean, but maybe you have something close. We're just talking about that 902 level. So like we're short at $900.60 right now. So it just keeps on bouncing off 901.25 here. So that's, 70, 60, 70 cent hit. We are hovering at the highs. I mean, if we fall, we are going to, potentially have a decent winner here. So I already told you at the beginning, remember I said like, if you want to lose $5,000, then put 1,000 shares. We're not anywhere near those numbers on anything like this. So we're going to give this up to 905. So that's the trade there for me. We are going to go to Adair in 1 second. I just want to show this. So there we go. So we did short that 167.50 on Tesla. We did take another short right here, but you could see where my average price is, 167 flat now. So this is what we're dealing with. So I did take a piece out there for flat at 167. I thought what was that? Yeah, sorry, 167. This is Tesla I'm talking about. 167 right there, we did get that fill. So that was my last trade to come through. Why I just was like, what's happening is Apple, we just got another fill down there at 170. So this is getting close to taking out that 170 and a quarter. When that happens, we're going to be gone on Apple. But again, like Neil mentioned, we'll turn ourselves red on this name as it breaks above these key levels.
Positive analyst note for Tesla here coming out from RBC Capital saying that they value autonomy over the car business, so they prefer the free trial for the full self-drive that Tesla announced last week over the potential harms of the Q3 delivery numbers. So they say that they prefer the full self-drive with regards to its potential benefit for the business over the potential drawdown of those Q1 delivery misses. They reiterated a 290 price target. So positive note here for TSLA coming from RBC Capital, guys.
All right, I'm kind of like back and forth with all this because we do have shares. Sorry, that's Apple. Sorry, my bad. We do have shares on Tesla, so I'll take another fill here at 90 this time. I was sitting there; it just wicked down when Adair was talking about that. But again, like all these stories coming out, positive. She just said that that was a positive note there for Tesla. So I don't know. We have some lower bids. I mean, I'm waiting for 166. So if we can come into that, that'd be pretty nice. Actually, now that I see that 166.40, let's just put a bid there. And if that fills, then hey, man, we got to be happy with that. So we'll see about a takeout there. We'll put a quarter down there. If we can get a fill on that one, then we'd be pretty happy with that. We are still waiting for Nvidia to break. Here it comes. It's now $1 out of the money. If you want to take this, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I am bidding, though, down at 900. I'd really like to see it come back in and have a look at that. But I am seeing this 901.30 has been a support level, and we just bounced off of it again. So if you're in capital preservation mode, I mean, I'm in make some money mode. So I'm going to see if we can hold on and see if this one will work, because right now I'm in it and I don't mind it. So a little bit of a breakdown here. Let's see if we can get rocking with Nvidia. But see, now that I see this, I think let me take out a piece just at flat there at $900.50. Cancel our 900 order. Maybe we can whoosh down there. I think if we break 900, we'll probably get that fill that we're looking for anyways, sub that level. So I am bidding right now, 898 and a quarter. So there it is. We'll take it out for flat just to show you guys. There's the flat trade. If you want that, you can get that on Nvidia, but we are starting to push downside again on this name. So there it is. There's the 900 break. So what a good hold there on Nvidia, putting us back to Greensville, but temporary because I'm not out. So as this name starts to dance around, we do have that bid down here at 898. Let's see if we can get a little lower than where we are right now. So that 902 seems to have wanted to hold for now. And Tesla's trying to cook, man. Let's see if we get a downside push here on Tesla as well, as Apple takes out the top. So we will go red on Apple, which is fine. I said that before. If it's going to be a top trade idea for me, then I want to make money and celebrate it when it's right, and then also let you guys know when it's wrong. So there it is right there. I still don't think it was really that wrong, but nice move upside on Apple, and ball don't lie. So there you go.
So I have a new position alert, but I'm going to get to Intel first, because I said I was going to reload Intel at the local high. To me, this is still at least stair-stepping down. You got lower highs into a gap down, so I shorted it off of this top, reloaded at 26s. I got 26s and 27s the first time, 26s the second time. Took some VWAP. I'm going to get some out in front of 41 and then hold for 40.80, which is low that. But you'll see I have a new position on Nikola. Nikola doesn't want to give you $1 today. But as I was looking for things, if I'm going to be looking short, then I want stocks that have not taken out the top and are still looking weak. So under $1, lower high, off of the opening market range and yesterday's close price. So it gave me a short in here that I can give to 94. So I got 92. I have a 92.8 price. It's going to round to 93. We've discussed that before. I'll take some out in front of VWAP. I want to hold some down into the 80s. And if it breaks 88, I want to hold some for the dream down to 86. So I'm back into Intel on a reload. Well, I've never been out of Intel, but we reloaded Intel. New position for me is Nikola. I don't necessarily want to be fighting any of the high flyers. Like, I got the one trade. I've been scalping Nvidia, so I had the one trade scalp short, and then I kind of messed up the long trade. Getting in and out flat was the keystroke error on my part, but it happens. But so I'm going to stick with that. It's still trending to the upside. I do not want to be fighting it too hard here. So we're going to go to Sector Watch with Adara. And we'll see how some energy names are doing, because I just realized we haven't talked about that once, and I'm curious.
Ooh.
Energy, one of the few sectors that are pretty much flat right now. Energy minerals flat. We have consumer durables pretty flat, although do keep an eye on Tesla. In addition to that positive note from RBC Capital, Elon Musk also saying just now on X they're looking to license out full self-drive technology to other companies. So keep an eye on Tesla with regards to that. Health services also pretty flat here after a really rough day for that sector yesterday. And communications also pretty flat. In terms of positivity, a lot of sectors moving to the upside. Producer manufacturing strong. Health technology pretty strong as well here. But we do have some negativity here coming out of consumer non-durables. Couple of analysts here downgrading some of these names. Argus Research downgrading Pepsi here, PEP. And also some of these other names within this sector getting downgraded by Gordon Haskett this morning as well. So very much some red look here for consumer non-durables, but a lot of other positivity in the market today, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. And I was actually, what it is, but UPS was one of the ones we talked about on that upgrade, downgrade board. Sometimes you look at the chart in hindsight's 2020, dip right into the previous close and clean bounce. Clean bounce off the previous close price within 5 cents on a $150 stock. That's insane. When you see things like that, it blows your mind. If you're looking only at this stock and you favor the long, well, if it was one of two things, which was holding above 50 period and breaking 152, that was one setup. It never gave the breakout trade, but it gave you the dip almost perfectly. My last trade was kind of looking for something weak into a strong market to fade it. And it ended up being Nikola, which is on the NASDAQ. That kind of annoys me. I always think it's on the New York. We faded that one. I got some out going into VWAP. But if this continues to stair step up, like if what happens next is, okay, you get that reversal trade, it bounces and consolidates off VWAP, then I don't want to be reloading this 93 area. I think what I want to do there is make sure I get enough out that I can try and short it off of the new high, like that high at 95 instead of the 94. So I'm taking profit into VWAP. I'm going to hold some for under because I want to see if we can't get something more, move to the downside on this name. But I do want to respect that the market is looking strong. I think you got to do that. About 15 minutes to go until we get to learn to trade and we adjust into midday trading. Do remember you have a host of Fed speakers and, of course, Chairman Powell. Event's at 12. He hits the podium at 12:10. We'll keep you abreast of everything. Manuel says look at DraftKings because it looks weak. Like, that's where my focus is going to be. If I want to be bearish and I don't want a long tops, then if I think we can pull back in the futures, I want to look for shorts that if the market continues going up, you still have a chance. You know, I think that Intel's giving you that. I think you can get that with Nikola. DraftKings, this sort of fits the bill. I mean, look at this stock. There's 44.80. There's a close 44.80. There's resistance 44.80 yesterday. And the high today is 44.97. Like, it wicks that top. This is exactly the kind of thing I mean when you talk about relative weakness and what is it safer to work yourself into a short off of. Maybe it's not ideal here at 44.5. You want the market to press it up and give you some money fills above VWAP into that 45. I think you want the 80s going into 45. But that's a great look, Manuel. You know, I think you want to look for relative names and not try to fight that trend too much. Speaking of trends, you still can't get VWAP on Meta. Can't get it. Like, this stock is way too strong at this point. Like I said, I'm not going to chase tops. I'm in preservation mode because at this point, like Tesla and Nvidia, like Tesla's 2x any single loss I have, Nvidia's 3x any single loss I have, because I've been going range trading, and that's just going to be my style. Like, I'll take small hits on stocks that I'm wrong at and try not to hold them. You've got to be able to trade your own pocket, whatever that happens to be. And then some days your strategy style works better than others. Today, getting out of the way of the short at times has been the way to go. But then there's some days where it continues, and you see me not have those trades that Sean will have in the afternoon. So you got to stick in the pocket. I like that DraftKings look. So Manuel, I guess technically I'm stealing it because you said it. But I'd want fills above VWAP, shorting like 77s into like 70s into 80s because this can't seem to get going when the market is looking strong. And I like that look.
Yeah, DraftKings was the one sticky no name that we didn't get to. I mean, I wrote down 46 just to look at that, but the market's not getting that heated. Well, it is, but I mean, DraftKings not going up there. So I think the show was right for there as well. Okay, it's 10:45 right now. The good thing about this is no matter how you're trading today, you know, you don't have to have lunch. Maybe some days you
should always eat lunch.
Extravagant than other days, but
eat.
Today, what is for lunch? What yesterday? What?
It was the sausage, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They had sauerkraut.
Remember, I called it.
They had I don't do corn on the sausage, but
There was spicy corn.
if you're into
there was
that,
pickles.
that pickles.
Remember,
They
I was
diced
like,
onions.
Yeah. So that was a dub there for sure.
I had a salad.
Today has a potential as well. Today's another very, very typical, especially if you're British. This is a very, very typical meal and very, very popular. And hopefully I'll be having some of this with my main man, Adam, because I know that he is over across the pond there. And it's fish and chips. So it is not a chicken dinner winner. I mean, it's a winner because it's not chicken. You know, we get that fish. Adair and I were pretty close, man. It's fish and chips. You do not make fish and chips with salmon. So we will be wrong on that one, but we are right, you know, in the aquatic area.
I think that's as close to dead on because salmon's pretty rare to get here. But
yeah. So
my
there we
only
go.
beef
Fish
with
and
that
chips.
is when you're delivering catering.
Yeah.
Fries aren't the best option because
No.
there's not, unless you're making on site, there's no good way to do, you can't keep them crispy. It's almost impossible. When you transport it, condensation,
That's definitely
science, it just doesn't work. If you make it on site, it's one thing. Because I love fish and chips. I eat seafood every day in Florida though.
It
Like
is absolutely boring
every
here.
single meal I was eating seafood. So I'll stick to my salad today, but fish and chips is good. What else we got going on here? So, that's what I wanted to get to. We've been ignoring a few Mag 7 names. I'm not going to force anything right now. If I get DraftKings, great. Nicola's looking like it's going to press into VWAP. We haven't talked about Microsoft or Alphabet today, right. Unless you did that. I don't think we did.
No.
So I'm going to do this. I didn't even look at Microsoft. I was focused on Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Apple, all the same names from yesterday. Obviously, we're talking about Tesla as well, and Mara, CGC a little bit, but not Microsoft. And Microsoft bounced off our support right away. So that's a bit of a miss. Like if you go through every possible idea, sometimes you'll get bogged down, but sometimes it's that one thing you didn't look at, because that was the support level we've been talking about for a couple of days, and now it's gone. However, look at 422. Resistance, support, resistance, to possible support. So I am going to look back at a pull, but forget about VWAP for a second and just think about that 422. If the market continues trend up, Microsoft looks pretty darn good at that 422 level if it can start to pull back and bounce off of it. The new position for me was a Nikola short. By the way, here at Real Trading, we had to pay for locates. I think it was like 1/8 of a cent or something like that for Nikola shorts. They're not free. I don't know what your brokers charge, but I can tell you here at Real Trading that it's like a fraction of a cent for us. So it's pretty good. It's essentially free. So it's now at VWAP. I'm going to wait for a press down into 90. I was risking about a penny on this, penny and a quarter technically. So when it goes in the money, 2.5 cents, that's 2 to 1. Right, so it's a penny stock. You got to adjust the way you look at things. It's all about risk to reward. But if you're only risking 1.5 cents or 1.25 cents, you should be taking profit when it goes 2.5.
All right, it's 10:49, almost 10:50. We haven't looked at crypto too much today, but wow, what a nice move up. It's been there for BTC. So yeah, congratulations. We talked about that 64 level as possibly coming into play. So let's go over here and just drop down. Come on, man. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. Right now, look at that. So U.S. equity markets, 10 o'clock. I mean, okay, come on, Nvidia. Oh, man, let's take a sip of coffee as we get ready for that one. All right, so, you know, that ISM, I keep saying what that number was. It was ISM manufacturing at 10 o'clock. That really started this, yeah, ISM PMI, 51, lower, 54 on the manufacturing. So all lower numbers, but definitely sent not only the NASDAQ mooning here, but also Bitcoin. So yeah, just a little bit of a move up there. We got to go over two money talks, but before we do that, Tesla right now back in the pocket here, 50 cents in the money. We're going to bid out a little bit right now, so let's bid that. There it is right there. Let's take that. We'll take a 75 fill right there as it does come back in. I was going to wait for a little bit lower, but hey, we talked about this with conviction early today. We said that Tesla, look what it's written down here. It's written 168 for the short. So we don't have the best price. I mean, it did go as high as 167.60 there. We're at 30s. So we didn't want to average in. We talked about that. It was kind of like, are these shorts even right today? Because we are also in Nvidia right now. But let's go over to the desk. We'll figure out what's going on with the DXY and come back and see what happens to this Tesla trade.
Second day of downside here for the DXY on these daily candles. We did get that number, ISM non-manufacturing PMI, coming in, as Sean just said, they're lower than expected. So 51.4 versus the 52.8 estimate, also lower than the previous number of 52.6. So this is bullish for the market. Looks like it may have been bearish here for the DXY. We also have some comments from Fed speakers. We had Fed's Bowman at 9:45. Didn't see any comments from that, but we had Fed's Bostic on CNBC at 8:30. Quite a few comments from here, including his continuing forecast for one rate cut this year. So a little bit more hawkish than some of these other Fed speakers we've seen. We do have, though, Fed Powell coming on. I'm seeing here 12:10. At 12, we'll have Fed's Goolsbee. 3:10, we're going to be getting Fed's Barr. And then at 4:30, we get Fed's Kugler. So lots of Fed speak to keep an eye on. The main thing we're going to be watching for is Fed Chair Powell just around 12, guys.
I mean, when Bowman was talking, apparently Hal did open the pod bay doors for this market. So that did work out for him in the end. You're not going to get that reference. Anybody gets that reference, I'll shout you out for sure if you do, because I'm a big science fiction guy. Nikola broke VWAP. We got 91s in there, so we got our next target. I have a 90 bid, and I still think, in this market, like we're still trend up. It's consolidating up there, but if you can find those weak names, it's just easier. Like it's easier for something that hasn't broken out to find an entry into a short where you have some obvious stop areas that you can keep it reasonable, as opposed to something which is just continuously making highs. Now, ultimately, like if I stick with AMD, like it probably gets some out there and then maybe find a top off 82. Like I think that would have worked out, but it's not going to be my cup of tea at this time of day. However, like Intel still can't break the pre-market low. So you're able to short that one first off VWAP and then off 4140. That's right back into the low of the day. If it does double bottom down here, I'd probably jam out of it in a strong market. So it's all about looking for the things that can still give you that flush trade, as now the market's starting to come back in. But I'm liking what I'm seeing here overall in terms of giving you opportunities. So you stick to the names that are in your plan. I said this yesterday in the lesson of the day. Like you can alter your plan, you can adjust your plan, but you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because even if you're looking for fades, there's going to be levels that are in play even when the market goes bullish. There's going to be relatively weak names even in play when the market goes bullish. So you got to be able to stick to that overall. I do want to go back over to Meta. I think you're going to get, if the market pulls back here, I think you're going to get an opportunity into VWAP on this bad boy. And I think that would be the long I'm looking for, would be Meta off of VWAP.
All right, yeah, I mean, good words there. I mean, that's exactly what we've been talking about, right? It was sticking with the names and literally, dying with them or, winning with them. So we're doing that with NVIDIA right now. We have, the two number one P&L names today will be NVIDIA and Tesla, and we're literally holding those two names. So I feel like I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing right now. Now over $1 in the money on NVIDIA, and we sweated that one out. But there it is, coming back in. It's at the 50 period. I told you where I'm bidding, man. I want a 980. I want an 898, Phil. So we want that. Well, maybe we'll take it right here, though. I'm going to put it at 898.60 in case we do get that little bit of a bump down right now. And then you break 899, and then we get that. So I'm going to cancel my 898.25, and just to see. I mean, it's still, the market's still up here. This could be a losing trade, so like I said, we sit here and we wait. Like if the market fades out, this NVIDIA trade is going to be an absolute monster. If we wind up losing on it, we've already taken enough out to have basically not worried about it. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the downside right now. I'm feeling like, BPI, why do I do this? Big Patty Ice. All right, I'm going to put another bid there so I'm just going to take this out right now at 899.20. I just keep upping my outs because, again, we want to make sure that we're right, because we were wrong. This went all the way through. We weren't wrong. We said we were going to wait for 905, and the only thing that's wrong is us not getting more short, because I'm at 904, and it went to 903.75. But see what I'm saying? There's the move right back up to the upside again. So, yeah, maybe that 50 period is something, and we will potentially regret not taking $1. So we'll wait. Tesla's still right there as well, man. Good trading, like I said. Another top name right there today. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and what's up, the boring man? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's actually make some money, and see if we can get some downside pushes here. So that's what I'm waiting for. Like I said, we can get out for flat and call it like a flat morning. But I like the trade, and it doesn't have to be a P&L-based thing at all. It's just like, if we're going to hold the name, let's see if it will get down to the downside. We are well comfortable now if it does break that 905, and I would want to see what this market does. We have, apparently, Joe Biden's coming at 11 o'clock. I don't know if that's...
Say what?
Exactly. That's not going to affect anything about the market. The Tesla thing is the worst for me because, we just got an out, so that was great. Is because we have that news with the full self-drive that Adair's talked to us a little bit about. And so, if that hits the news wires, obviously, which it already has, and gives like a good feel story here to that, then maybe Tesla does, get some wings here and start to get back up to the upside. But hey, man, NVIDIA is coming in again, 899.70. The spread on this is 50 cents. Sometimes right now it's 40. So just be careful with it. I'm hoping for a whoosh down, and we will get that fill at 899.20 in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, next couple of minutes. We only have 3 minutes till we go to 11. We're back at 2. You know how we do around here. Learn to trade has been great all week because it's so topical in the midday when you're learning to adjust your trading strategy to the time of day, and then you see it adjust from us to Obi and Adara doing a fantastic job. I want to give a shout out first of all to I don't know if we acknowledge this name in the chat because you said the apple fritter thing.
Yep.
In the chat, we have apple and raisin pancake with powdered sugar. I don't know if this is the same person that has changed her name from Apple Fritter, but that is just making me want to have breakfast for dinner tonight, which we do in my household all the time. Like at least a couple times a month, we're throwing down like waffles and bacon and eggs and stuff for dinner. Probably not tonight because my daughter has gymnastics, so I'm going to be in and out, so I'm probably ordering something. But I also want to shout out Ford because I kept talking about play relative strength and weakness. So stick to the shorts and things that are relatively weak. Look for longs and things that are relatively strong. Ford is still going up another 2.5% today. Shout out to everyone that's talking about this bad boy. I think when you see this, why not look for dip and rip? $13.50 is VWAP. That's not bad at all. Ford's going to move in 10 cents at a time. So if you risk 5 cents on it, make profit when it goes like 10 cents for you. But I'm making an adjustment. I said the other day, I own Ford shares, my personal account, that have reclaimed that 50 and 200 period cross at like 12.20, or I think I put the stop at $12. I'm just going to get out of this my long term. Actually, no, now that it's broken out, if it even breaks 13, I'm just going to get out. And let's see if it can run to 15. If it runs to 15, I know I'm already getting out because I have an offer out there for, I think it's good for like 4 months or something like that. But yeah, this is a stock that's starting to go finally, but I'm going to lock it in the personal account because I don't want to hold this long term. And it was good off that 11 level, but it actually went down to 950, and I didn't cover it then. So now that it's actually turning into a winner, I'm going to get out of that stock. 1 minute to go here, everybody. I'm looking at this Apple. Oh, goodness, now I have a wick on Apple. See, I didn't have any of these all morning. And Apple is now, when I talk about setups, I'm trying to be patient. I only shorted it off the levels I liked, so off of yesterday's high. That was a winning trade, then the second time loss, then shorted off the 170. So I'll go 1 for 3 on Apple, but again, that's going to be the style of trade I like. Now you're into this level, which is holding 170.5 to 170, call it like 70s, which was a bottom on the 28th. And then on April Fool's Day, the level didn't matter unless you were shorting it off of that breakdown. But today, it's starting to crest. So if we go sideways in the afternoon, Apple has a tendency to hold 20, 30 cent ranges where you can start scalping it. And if it's going to do that, then this 170, 60 area could be that kind of a trade. So if it confirms the top here and gives a little bit of sideways action, I think I'd start scalping Apple. I don't want to be long tops. I'm not that bullish on this name that I'm going long tops. Meta, that could be a different story. You show me VWAP, I'll go long Meta. But that's the only long I'm really still thinking about.
All right, yeah, some good ideas there into the midday show. So again, we're about to get ready to go over there. We're just fixing up some mics or something with Obi, so that should be fun. All right, so a name that we looked at until we're ready here. Nvidia's still bouncing around. I don't know. Like I said, the market's going higher. It's not breaking lower. As long as we're above that 50 period, this trade is in trouble, which is why we've moved our stop up on that one. All right, so here's Palantir Technologies. We did want to talk a little bit about this name because we had indicated before a 22 bottom. I'm still bidding there. Obviously, we didn't get it. I'm at 22.10. I want to cancel that now just so I don't have to worry about it. But we did get there down to 22.40. But nice move up, man. Now taking out some of these levels that we had talked about with the 50 period. So we had rang up Aunt Kathy and said maybe potentially if this name gets low enough, someone will buy it. But maybe they were in there a little bit earlier than we had thought, as there it goes, nicely done to the upside for Palantir and really cooking in the last 10 minutes. So watch out. If this market gets going, we could have, and there's Nvidia again for a dollar winner if you want it, but there's Palantir at 23, looking like a decent level break. Up to the, like now that it's breaking this, up to the 200 is a possibility, especially if this market doesn't slow down. So I'd look for a break here. Watch out for 23.20, could be a level to get something out. And then maybe if you're looking to go short in and around 23.50, but not until then, especially if we break. And yeah, there's Nvidia breaking through 900 again. We are short at 901. So as I said, there's another dollar if you want it. We're getting greedy and waiting for two, but yeah, get greedy with Trader TV Live and want more.
Ooh, Netflix.
Netflix is breaking?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we could keep talking about stocks forever. So let's go give Netflix to these two. It's Adara, nice shirt.
Adobe.
And Obi, nice sweater. You're welcome. And it's the midday show, so let's go.
Thank you, Sean, for those shirt-related compliments. Sean and I are both in salmon today, and we're actually having fish and chips for lunch. Pretty funny how that works out. I am Adara, and this is Obi.